IG and YT.
Live, awesome. All right, we are live once again. This is live 22 with Mary True Talks. We have Albeni's back.
Yo, welcome to be back.
He loves being screamed at.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely adore it.
Today we're gonna talk about a couple things because we want to actually have a debate. So we're not gonna go into too much information. So California wildfires. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about the ceasefire with Gaza and Israel, the TikTok ban, and Biden's farewell address. All right, so let's get to it. So I looked into like the taxes in California, and they're not the highest taxes. It's New York, but they do have the most amount of millionaires in California. Yep. So they do pay a lot of taxes in California. And their taxes are being burned to a crisp with what's going on right now with the
I also don't think that it's like the level of taxes. I think it's like the amount of individual taxes, like energy tax, car tax, like
property tax. Yeah. Because their income tax is not as high as New York. New York has the highest income taxes. Yep. But their taxes are high on everything else.
They pay way more overall.
Yeah. So I looked into this, and it says California is home to a significant portion of the United States' wealthy population. As of 2021, approximately 17.9% of the U.S. taxpayers reporting an income of $1 million or more resided in California, up to 17% in 2019. In terms of millionaire households, California leads the nation with 1,147,251 households possessing over $1 million in investable assets, representing 8.51% of the state's total households. So, and then they are known for like millennial millionaires also.
Yeah.
Like 44% of millennial millionaires live in California.
It's the spot.
So, what I want to ask you is, because I know you're on the tax the rich side, they are being taxed.
Yeah.
And yet, their city just went and burned to it.
Well, it's not them that I have a problem with. My problem is with the uber rich. Like when you're crossing like the 50 billion plus. Uber rich? Like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, those like the
Warren Buffett,
the big fat, like the fattest of the fattest, like pockets. That's what I'm talking about. Those are the people that pay the least amount of taxes. Those people, like, that's fine. Like, yeah, they're getting burned now. Like literally, they're getting burned. But
yeah, they're getting.
I mean,
they're the ones who pay the most taxes. They're them. It's not the poor.
Yeah, I mean, like, but so Elon Musk, I think, moved to Texas like recently, like a year or two ago.
Yeah, I think 2020.
Something like that. So like, I'm more on tax the rich, but tax the rich, the uber rich. That's my biggest concern. Like the people that have the most amount of money that should be paying the most amount of taxes, that they're not paying any taxes.
So I actually looked it up on ChatGPT like this week, and 1% pays 40% or more of taxes, and then the upper 50% pay like 94% taxes.
They're supposed to, but like so you can literally check Elon Musk like how much he gets paid, like his payroll, and it's like less than $1.
Doesn't he get paid salary? Doesn't he pay himself salary?
Well, yes, but like it's like nothing.
Billionaires pay themselves salary.
But it's like nothing. They make the way that they have their wealth, like their net worth is literally like assets like stocks and real estate and stuff like that, like their companies and stuff like that. Like right now, I actually found this out the other day that Elon Musk hit 400 billion.
But why just focus on Elon Musk when the majority of billionaires are left?
Well,
there's more left billionaires than there are right billionaires.
It's all of them in general.
If the left really believed in tax the rich, then they would have taxed the rich. They would have created a policy to tax the rich a long time ago. Because 83% of 83 billionaires donated to the Kamala Harris campaign. Yeah. So those are the same people that could have been lobbying, 100%. Saying tax us, and they didn't. Yeah. So they don't want to tax themselves.
Because they're in bed together. They're all in bed together. There just needs to be like a huge exodus.
So then why does the left go on this campaign of tax the rich if the billionaires on the left are not they don't connect with that message, and they donate to the leftist party? I think it's just a campaign to get people rattled up. But at the end of the day, Bernie Sanders is a millionaire. never worked a day in his life, and he's still on this tax the rich.
But I think that Bernie still pays taxes on like whatever he makes. Obviously, I.
But he's a billionaire off of taxpayer funding.
For
I'd
sure.
rather a billionaire who's actually built something like Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, all these tech giants. At least they built something. What did Bernie Sanders build? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather you build something and it makes sense for you to get tax write-offs than you not build anything and you're just you're just getting rich off of people.
I get it. I get it.
It's kind of sleazy. Even though he's not a Democrat, he's an independent.
I think it's just political theater of like they're trying to present like we should be taxing the rich, but then they actually don't, or they don't like put any energy into actually doing it because, like I said, they're in bed together, so they don't.
Right.
So they'll just and that goes for both sides. Like that this is where I show my true central like position, where it's like I don't agree with either side because the right is in bed with the billionaires and so is the left.
There's a video. If you can find out this video, it's a video of Cuomo. I don't know if you know. I actually like Cuomo. He's I guess more centered left, but I really like him. He's very realistic. There's a video of him in the DNC where I don't know if it went viral, where he literally was recording like where the billionaires are on the top, and then he goes, "This is all a show because these people control everything, and they're literally funding the Democrat Party. And Democrats are saying we're gonna tax the rich, but the rich are funding them. It's all a show to get people to believe that they're actually not in on it, but they are in on it.
It's both sides though. The right just shows it in a different way. So like,
but the right isn't gonna say tax the rich.
No, for sure. The
at
right,
least I respect that in that
the
sense.
right is just straight up in your face, like, nah, we're not.
At least,
like,
I'd rather that than you lie to my face. You know,
I agree. Yeah, for sure. It's just at the end of the day, the right thing that needs to be done is that we need to tax the rich. Like whether they show it or they say, or they don't do it, or they say it and then like whatever. At the end of the day,
but the issue with that is, okay, you tax Elon Musk, whatever it is. Okay, so I actually looked this up. I did a TikTok video about this before I got banned. Fun fact, I got banned. Before the ban, I got banned.
Nice.
So yeah, funny. We'll talk about that later. But so I looked this up, and if you were to get all the billionaires together, right, and you were to tax them, I believe I put 40% or something like that, or 50%, it doesn't even hit 5% of our debt. So like, how much are you willing to tax them for us to actually create a dent in the debt?
So it's not comparison to the debt, it's comparison to the GDP, because the way we pay off debt is based off GDP. So it's hard to put into perspective because I can't really, like, I don't like comparing a country to a house, but like in certain scenarios it's like the easiest way, even though it's like super simple, and like I'm missing a couple of things out. So like, think of GDP as how much money is coming in.
Right, the revenue.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know what you
so
mean.
Like, if the people that are making the most money aren't contributing to the GDP, then we have no way to pay our interest. And right now we're spending more than 100% of our GDP on stuff that we don't need, like Ukraine.
Yes.
And Israel, like,
well, that stuff, but the Pentagon.
Yeah, I know a bunch of other stuff. Yeah,
there's a lot of things internally that we need. To cut off.
Apart from literally everything else, that we have like nothing. But like, if we would just get some of the money that they would do, it would contribute to the GDP, which means that we would have just slightly, even if it's like 1% more income, we have that little bit more that we can work with to maybe even bring down a little bit of the national debt. But since there's no rule or anything to like stop them, and there's nothing that. Not with Trump, not with Kamala, nothing was gonna happen with that. Like, at the end of the day, because like we just said, the left just is theater, and the right is just like, yeah, no, we're not gonna do this. We're literally just not gonna do it. Yeah. So like, there was no solution, and that was to me the biggest thing that was like, I can't like literally be full center left or full center right because of that specific. Like, to me, money is what runs the world. Like, it like, when you have no money, you can't do nothing.
Right.
You can't do anything. So like, if there's no contribution to the GDP, then how are you going to bring down your national debt? You can't. And the biggest gainers are the ones that should be contributing the most to the GDP.
What's I don't remember right now, but the revenue right now is like, I don't like 2 trillion.
Like our GDP, like, I don't know exactly where it's at.
It's on the trillions though.
So
it's not like we are.
No, we're making money. No,
money.
No, and our productivity is through the roof. like our productivity
So
chart is nuts.
I don't think the problem. I don't think the best option is to tax the rich, because that's not going to happen. So it's like wishful thinking. And I tell that to all my leftist friends. It is wishful thinking, because it's just not going to happen. The left is not going to do it. If they would have done it, they would have done it a long time
and the
ago.
right is literally
And
saying
the right
no.
has been telling you they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
So it's wishful thinking. I think the reality is, this is how much money we're making. This is how much money are we spending, and then that's what we need to focus on,
Yeah.
is the spending.
Yeah.
Because
But
the rich are not going to lose.
We've been
They have too much
hitting
power.
we've been hitting the 100% GDP since like Obama, like since before Obama. Like we've been getting closer and closer and inching just closer until we reached the 100% mark, and then we reached, not only did we reach the 100%, but I think we reached like 120% of our GDP that we're spending. Why? Like if we were actually spending 120% of our GDP on actual good things to progress our nation, then we wouldn't be at eggs at $10, oil through the roof, like everybody's struggling to make some kind of grocery happen, like everybody's struggling. We are in a renter's nation right now, like everybody's renting for the most part.
But it's gonna continue being like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think it's gonna get better.
Until we fix our ratio of GDP and national debt. Once we start reaching that point where we start to spend less and make more, then that's when we're gonna start to actually start breathing more. It's like an actual person. Like when you're like to your head of debt, it's like I can't breathe. Like I can't go outside and look at something, because if I look at something, I'm afraid that it might cost me something. And then it's like, well, I can't pay for it, so I'm
I
dead.
have a friend who literally told me, "Bro, I walk outside and I'm already spending over $100."
Exactly. So like right now, that's the biggest issue that I see with the U.S. right now, that we're spending more than we're actually like making.
Yeah, that is the biggest problem. But if that's the truth, what it is, we are spending more, then this administration that we just had, why would they continue to spend the money?
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but so like Biden didn't do anything about it. He actually just let the problem like linger.
He made it worse.
Yeah, 100%.
He spent
Yeah, by
trillions of
letting it linger and helping out like Ukraine and like Israel is just like just messing us up.
I mean, forget about that. Just on the infrastructure stuff
but
alone, he spent way too much money.
But at least that's like for the nation, you know. Like, is it the best decision to spend that money on the nation? Probably not, you know.
Not when we're broke. You know
exactly, but like at least it's for America. Like the whole
the intention was good, just the timing was terrible.
Yeah, like the way you implemented, not the best, but the idea was there.
Right. Yes.
I'd rather that than I'm just gonna send it to Ukraine.
Yeah, you send a lot of money to Ukraine.
A lot of money to Ukraine, and like, what did we get? Help with the fires. Awesome, great.
So when it comes to the fires, this is why so this guy has been collecting tax money from these rich people for a long time. And then I think it's the Palisades that got affected
the most. Yeah, it's like acres and acres.
There's a lot of money in the Palisades.
Mm-hmm.
So the reservoir, so they have like 1,000, I think it was like 1,500 something reservoirs in the state. That one in particular was empty.
Yeah.
Because there was like some type of hole or something, and then they were supposed to fix it. But it's like, why did you take so long to fix this, knowing that you guys have wildfires on an annual basis?
Yeah.
And then as a governor, you would think he would actually be on top of it, especially because in 2020 they had a really bad wildfire. And then since 2020, insurance companies have been pulling out. They're like, dude, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing as a governor. Neither is the mayor. Why am I going to pay out of coverage for these people? I'm literally like losing money and I have to pay my employees. But they're blaming it on the insurance companies. And then as a small business owner, it's like, why would you blame it on the insurance companies when it's your job to manage the state?
Yeah.
If you're doing a shitty job, why should they continue to work in the state? I would pull out indefinitely.
It's as simple as this question: why are the houses made of wood?
Wait, what?
Yeah, some of the houses were literally made of wood.
I mean, but that's like part of like the homeowner. Don't they choose what houses they want or whatever?
Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter when most of the houses are made of wood. You had like.
That's crazy. There's houses that were made out of.
I mean, not like completely made of wood, but like the foundations, like the
right.
It was wood. So like, that's crazy. Of course it's gonna burn up. I'm pretty sure you've seen the picture. Most people have seen the picture of that one house that survived, and then the rest of them are like just straight flat, and it's because that house was made of concrete.
That's crazy.
So as an insurance company, I know that there's gonna be fires here, and your house is here, and your house is made of wood. Why the fuck would I insure your house?
Yeah,
Why?
exactly.
It does. It just.
But another thing that I don't understand is he put a regulation on them last year. So he put a regulation, which I don't know how that was even legal, to force them to cover the places that you know are prone to higher wildfires. And the insurance companies were like, no, F you, we're not going to do that. So they stopped renewing policies. So it's like, but then he's on camera saying, oh, it's not my fault.
Yeah, but-
it's the local leadership and the companies. Like, no, dude, it is your fault. And I hope that he gets recalled.
My biggest problem with Gavin Newsom is when there was a lady that went up to him and was like, "Yo, so what are you gonna do about the fires?"
Oh, yeah.
And that to me
so sad.
was like, this guy's not
The one that he was like pretending that he was in the
yeah,
phone.
that he was
I'm
pretending,
trying to call
yeah,
Biden.
there's
I'm
no
trying to
service.
call Biden. There's no service.
I need Starlink. I need Starlink. There's no service. Like that. Like, come on, bro. That's
You're so full of it, dude.
like, come on.
His hair's like perfectly like
Yeah.
gelled. Like everybody's like losing their shit, and his guy's perfectly gelled.
Yeah, like,
Looks
bro,
he
maybe
has it.
maybe don't do this, something like that. You know, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna call Biden right now. Okay. I'll follow you wherever it is. Don't worry. And that to me was the part that irked me the most. Like apart from anything else, because when it's person to company, it feels less personable, because it's like, yeah, a company's not a person. There's people in it, but it's
Right.
not a person. A company shouldn't have the same rights as like a person.
Right.
But when it's a person to person, when it's like, yo, I lost my house, you're the person in charge. What can you do about it?
Yep.
And the person is like, hold on. Go fuck yourself. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that.
I no, it's not that. And then when the LA mayor was asked about this, she didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Like when she just came back from Ghana,
Mm-hmm.
like, why are you in Ghana? Like, you are supposed to be, first of all, you're an LA mayor. What are you doing in Ghana for an inauguration of whoever? Like, who cares? You're not the governor, you're not the president. You have no business in Ghana. It's taxpayer money
Yeah.
that flew her to Ghana and back. And then when somebody asked her, who was actually not a reporter from the US, he's a reporter from the UK, he was the first one to kind of ambush her and ask her, what do you have to say? She just straight up silence, like nothing.
I just don't understand okay, so if you have constituents and you're in charge of a certain area, and you're pretty like you're not a leader, but you're pretty high up there for certain, you know, like to certain people you're a leader.
Exactly.
You've seen a similar situation, because the most similar situation that I can remember that's something like this is Ted Cruz with the blizzards in Texas, that he literally went to Mexico.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
You should learn from your colleagues that if you leave in emergency situations, you're going to get shit on.
Yep.
So don't leave.
No, and then now all her dirty laundry is coming
Oh,
out.
yeah, now it's
so
just
like
worse
now
for her.
everybody's investigating her past.
Same thing with Ted Cruz.
Exactly.
The
Like
same exact
we
thing.
recently found out that this chick is a Marxist. Like
Yep.
when I think it was in the 70s or the 80s when we couldn't go to Cuba,
Mm-hmm.
there was like a policy or whatever. She was a part of the Vencemos Brigade, which I
Okay.
talked about that on TikTok. Somehow that didn't get banned, but me talking about how the insurance companies are not at fault, that got banned for misinformation. But whatever. So she went to Cuba when the federal government said you're not allowed to go to Cuba, as like I guess like as a protest with that Vencemos Brigade. She went 15 times. This is documented 15 times. We don't know
That's
how many
nuts.
times she actually did
Yeah,
go.
of course.
15 times. And then when this guy dies, Fidel Castro, she goes, oh, the Cuban people lost, they lost somebody good or something like that. And I'm just like, what?
No.
What are you talking about, lady? These people are starving. Like, what are you even doing? So, like, all her dirty laundry is, like, now coming out. Everybody knows this lady's now, like, comunista. And then now people are questioning, like, why did I vote for her again?
Yeah.
Because she's black.
Yeah, of course.
That's why you voted
I
for her.
mean,
It's not because she was actually good. It's because her color was more melanin than the usual. So
or
you
she
voted
just
for her.
bamboozled you. Like, she just bamboozled you. There's a bunch of, like, Justin Trudeau from Canada. He literally ran on a liberal, and then just was like, you know what? I'm not so liberal as you guys thought I was. And then just,
I've never met a man that can cross his legs so well like Trudeau.
Like Trudeau.
Bro, that have you seen how he
No,
crosses
I
his
haven't.
legs?
I haven't.
Dude, I don't know how you can do that. And for such a long time, I can't do that.
I don't know.
Like if I'm a woman and I can't cross my legs for that long, the fact that he can do that shit is crazy. I understand why people say he's gay. What's up, Jose? Thank you so much for tuning in. Let us know what you think about these crazy California fires and the incompetence of our leadership in California. Which another reason why it's not a good look for the Democrat Party. This is the Democrat Party representation, and they're like failing.
Yeah,
so there's a
100%.
recall now. They're trying to do a recall on Gavin Newsom, Grant Cardone, known billionaire, typhoon in real estate, is doing a class action lawsuit to get him out of office.
Yeah.
And now he's running for governor, so that's going to be interesting. And then the guy that should have won for mayor, who's like another real estate dude, I don't know what he does, but he actually has he owns a mall.
Okay.
In the Palisade
yes,
areas.
Yes, and the one that he protected,
Yes, with a private. Yes,
With
he
the
should
fire
have
brigade.
won. He
Yep.
didn't win by like nothing. But now they're actually thinking, damn, we should have voted for this guy. So they're thinking of recalling and then putting him in, which is
He paid so much money to protect that mall. So much money. Like, it's nuts.
I mean, but the fact
Like
that he was
thousands
able,
of dollars per hour.
But you know how bad that looks? That
Oh,
he was
100%.
able to protect his
Oh,
mall with a
100%.
private.
Yeah.
It just looks bad.
Yeah,
It looks
meanwhile,
so
meanwhile
bad.
they're using prisoners, you know,
they're using prisoners for what?
to kill the fires.
No way.
You didn't know about that?
No way.
Yeah, of course. They're getting paid like $5 like a day or $10 a day, some shit like that. Yeah, 100%.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. This is breaking news for me. So the firefighters of LA, like the ones that taxpayers are funding, don't have an. Oh yeah, because they were defunded. Oh, that makes sense. Wow.
So they're using prisoners, which is like, this is I was having this conversation with my brother yesterday. Like, I'm okay with them using the prisoners if and only if there can be no other way. I mean, maybe there is and I just don't know about it. But to me, if you're going to use prisoners and you're going to pay them very little, at least give them an opportunity so that when they get out of prison, they can go and join a firefighter. Like, that's literally what they did
That's
in
tough
prison.
though, because there's people that want to be firefighters and they're on a waiting list.
Yeah, exactly. But like,
So that's tough.
this is where there's no brigade, there's no firefighter brigade that would have been able to tame the fires that are happening right now, like in the world. There was literally no amount of water that anybody can like hold on
Yeah,
land.
there was too many
It
fires
was
at
too
once.
much. So you need water first of all, and then second of all, people to get that water to the places that it needs to be. If you need the people and you're using prisoners and you're promising them, hey, I'm gonna give you less time on their
sentencing.
on their sentencing,
Yeah.
then at least give them some kind of opportunity to like, hey, we'll give you like literally anything, some kind of internship to be a firefighter or some kind of pathway to become a firefighter, because they're literally risking their life. They go into the crevices of the deepest fires to get, because there's parts where the airplanes can't reach. There's parts where the firefighters literally can't reach either. There's not enough water for them to reach anyways. So they use the prisoners and they get into the deepest crevices.
But at the same time, the only reason why they even got those prisoners is because they're not staffing enough firefighters in the first place.
Oh yeah, but
Like the LA mayor literally slashed the funds for the firefighter department. Literally right before she did
Yeah.
that, she was told not to do that
Yeah.
by the chief of the firefighter department, and she did it anyway. So that probably would have never even happened if they would have just hired more people. They wouldn't have to have brought prisoners to
I
help
just
out.
wish that
that's
there
kind of
was
slavery.
Oh,
like
100%.
legal slavery.
No, 100%. No, our prison system in America is slavery.
Like that's
That's
pretty
like
bad.
in history, if like after the Civil War, there was always some kind of form of slavery. I forget what the name of it. It's like black. If I say I'm gonna be lying. I won't know. I won't remember for sure. But there was some kind, like after the 13th Amendment, there was some kind of it's like black tags or something like that. They had a name for it, where it was literally like slavery with a different name, where it was just like they get paid nothing, but it's still black people and it's still them doing the same job, and it was obviously in the South. So like
Yeah.
in America, there's still this like undertone of obviously slavery, or not slavery, racism, but then under that is like slavery, and that is the prison system. the prison system has like turned into that, because it's like, and I wish I knew more about exactly the pathway of the history that it took, but that's essentially like, I know for a fact that it goes from slavery to the prison system to like what it is now.
Yeah, there's I mean, didn't Biden pass this crazy bill when he was in Senate 40 years ago or
Oh yeah,
whatever,
Jim Crow Joe.
about the crack, and if we catch you with just a little bit of crack, you're gonna be in
Yeah.
prison for X amount of time. And he locked up a bunch of black guys.
Yeah.
When he ran for president. If you know, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. That guy's a known racist. So
Yeah, I mean Jim Crow Joe.
I mean, I understand that there is racism, but I don't think it's to the extent of what the liberals want to claim of racism. I don't believe there is systemic racism.
I think there's definitely systemic. I think it's just more obscure, more
I mean,
invisible.
it's not like they can't go to college. They can go to college.
No.
They can, they can pursue whatever job they want to pursue if they really
Yeah.
put their minds to it, just like any other race.
But it's more of when they're in there. So like, if a black person, and I don't know because I'm not black, I don't know for sure, but like from what I've heard, people that like are of color, they go into these universities, and like not every single university, but some universities that are like predominantly white, they'll have some kind of like, it's not blatant. They'll never make it like super blatant, like, oh yeah, like you can't be here type shit, but they'll be like, certain rules for you, that you can't do this, you can't do that, and it's like more of the area where you live. So like, you can't compare Miami to Gainesville. I know it's like,
No, you can't.
you can't.
Miami is way more diversified than
Exactly.
Gainesville.
So
But
like,
Gainesville's very like underdeveloped compared
no,
to
yeah,
Miami.
and I just said Gainesville because it was the first one that came to my mind, but like,
I mean, Jacksonville's a humongous
exactly,
city,
even better.
Yeah.
Jacksonville's even better because Jacksonville is
but Miami's still more diversified than
Exactly. So like that kind of thing, like if you're a black person from Miami and you want to go to a university in Jacksonville, sure, you can go. Like the path is there for you to go. But like once you're there, are you going to get treated the same way as everybody else? And that's the question.
I mean,
And not only in the university, because like you have to also interact with the rest of the city. So
Right.
like police, people actually that live there, like that's where systemic racism comes into play. Not so much.
I think the reason why we still believe in this misconception is, well, first, Obama made everything very polarized. He was the first one, which ironic, the first black president, allegedly, because I don't believe he was actually black. Just like I don't believe Kamala Harris is black. But let's say he's the first black president. He polarized everything. He made everything super divided during his presidency for 2 terms. And then at the same time, how can I put it? Even if you like you went to school or whatever, I'm trying to word myself. I don't think it matters what color you are as long as you do the job.
Yeah.
Now, if you feel like your color means something, then you make it your identity, then yes, you're going to assume that it does mean something.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? And he, I believe, was a huge problem to that. Before Obama, that wasn't much of a problem as it was after Obama. And you would think after Obama we would be more, open and whatever,
Yeah.
and we were the opposite.
I think that what needed to happen, and now it's already too late, but what needed to happen maybe a couple of years, maybe at most like 50 years after the 13th Amendment, like after slavery was like just abolished, is there had to be some kind of reparation, because now it's too late. The black society, it's there's so many generations that have passed since then that it's like, bro, that was my great grandparent that was enslaved, not me.
But there's so many black people here that are not like for example, there's Haitians, there's Dominicans, there's Cubans, there's black Colombians, there's blacks, a bunch that were born here, but they don't have ancestral here.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's too late now. But if they would have done it like back in the day, like I said, like at most 50 years after slavery was abolished, and they would have like after World War II, Germany made reparations for the Jews.
Yes.
Like they were like, yo, we're sorry for what happened. Like we understand that what happened like was really messed up. So I don't know exactly what it was that they did, but I know that they did something for the Jews to like help them out, because they realized that like, yo, we fucked them. Like we fucked them. So let's help them out. And then, you know, what they do from there, that's on them. We didn't have that in the US. We just like, okay, abolishing slavery is good enough, right? That's it. That's all that matters.
Moving on.
Anyways.
Turning the page.
So we're not gonna give them any kind of society. We're not gonna give them any kind of housing. We're not gonna give them any kind of like support. We're just gonna, hey, you're not slave anymore.
I mean, technically we did, you know,
Yeah,
with Lyndon B. Johnson. You
Yeah.
know, we totally gave him. That was just for blacks.
I know, but
that wasn't really for the whites or the Hispanics. That was straight up just for blacks.
But LBJ,
and it didn't help them at all. It made it actually worse, and it actually divided their families. Because after the New Deal, the man was no longer in the home, and now the kid is being raised by the mom and the federal government.
LBJ wasn't our greatest president.
No,
though.
he wasn't.
He
but,
was.
That's as good as it gets, though. That's
I'd
as good
say
as-
probably like 44, 45 out of all of them. Pretty low.
Yeah, he's pretty low.
Pretty trash. I mean, the only one that's probably lower than him is the guy that was there for 12 days.
Who was there for 12 days?
Yeah, I forget exactly what number he was.
He was irrelevant. He was only there for 12
Yeah,
days.
he literally went out.
Okay.
It's so stupid because he went out on his horse in the rain, and then they were like, yo, you're going to get sick, bro. And this is like one of our first presidents. Like, I think like president like number 12 or something like that. I forget his name. But he went out in the rain and just got sick, and then it's like, yo, you're dead. That's it.
That's crazy. How
It
you
was dead within a month. Yeah.
That's wild. Well, I don't know how we started talking about racism, but
I go off on tangents all the time. It's my fault.
You're good. I joined you on it. So put the first video really quick on the California stuff. Very unfortunate. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Put on my glasses here because I can't.
And it's
see
crazy
nothing.
because like everybody in California either knows somebody or is actually affected by the fires.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so nuts.
Yeah.
You can't talk to anybody and then not have them know somebody that is.
I know somebody that was affected by the fires. So,
It's wild. It's so wild. Like, it's gigantic.
Ready?
Tonight, as search and rescue crews continue the grim and painstaking process of looking for human remains. Officials overnight releasing some of the names and photos of the more than 30 people still missing. Men and women ranging in age from 49 to 93.
Devastation that we're seeing with completely incinerated homes is tremendous.
This, the staging area for the cadaver dogs that go home by home in the burn zones. The death toll from the Palisades and Eaton fires now 27, but expected to rise.
The fire was so random, right?
And tonight, the CEO of Edison International, Pedro Pizarro, speaking out to NBC News amid lawsuits alleging SoCal Edison's utility equipment sparked the Eaton fire.
At this point, can you say with 100% certainty that your equipment did not play any role in this fire?
What I can tell you is that for sure we did not see any sort of electric signature that would be typical when you have a spark like that. But of course, we want to learn more. We'll investigate more.
So it's possible.
There's always a possibility there's something out of the ordinary, something very atypical here.
Videos and photos from Altadena residents show flames at the base of the transmission equipment minutes after the fire began, as winds gusted nearly 60 miles per hour in the area.
We don't want to just arbitrarily turn off power. And right now, we're hearing from customers. We're hearing questions like yours about, well, should you have turned off the transmission lines? And the answer is no, based on what we knew at the time.
Tonight, 10 days after the fires started, roughly 80,000 remain evacuated. So many struggling with what to do and where to go next amid a housing crisis throughout LA County.
We worked so hard to get here, and now to see it this way.
Tonight, some evacuation orders have lifted in areas surrounding the fire zone.
We're very thankful our house is standing, and I thought of all the families who would not be able to do that. I started to cry.
And as families prepare to return home, new warnings about the widespread health hazards for homes still standing, but covered in toxic ash.
When these fires burn, they're burning everything: paint, electronics, batteries. The main things we're concerned about are heavy metals, toxins, and asbestos.
Another layer of anxiety as the fallout from this disaster grows.
And Liz, we know people are anxious to get home, but even if they can get to their homes tonight, many can't stay.
Yeah.
That's so sad, man.
Yeah.
That's sad. I feel for them. I really do. You know, I saw like some videos like, oh, you know, like some people were like, oh, I don't feel bad for the rich because, you know, they can always rebuild. I feel bad for the poor. Bro, you just feel bad for everybody because it's not like they didn't bust their ass to get to where they are right now.
They worked to get there.
You know, like
it could have been anybody.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. They did what they had to do to get to that position.
So Patrick Bet-David, I'm sure you know who this is. Okay, so he's really big on life insurance. He still owns his life insurance company, but he's been talking about California's terrible policies on insurance since last year. So there's 2 shorts that I want us to watch really quick on this, and these are last year. This is not even what he's been talking about this year, but he's been talking about this for a minute, pretty much saying if they continue to do what they're doing, they're going to have the biggest exodus in history of California. Like 2020 is nothing compared to what's going to happen after the aftermath of the wildfires.
I mean, they're pretty much pushing them out right now.
Yeah, exactly. Which I don't understand that, because it's like,
that's income.
Exactly. That doesn't make absolutely any sense.
Yeah.
The incompetence is real. I honestly think they should investigate Gavin Newsom and the LA mayor. Like, those 2 in particular need to be investigated. And whoever's on top of the water reservoirs also needs to be investigated and possibly prosecuted. Because
I think I'm just an advocate for like transparency overall.
Accountability needs to be...
Like, transparency in the government needs to be like way more. Because right now I feel like if we want to have trust in the government, then we need the government to be more open.
Yeah.
Because it, like, right now, and it's been like this, I feel like since before Biden, maybe like since before Obama, that it's just been like shutting its doors more and more and more, like every day.
I mean, ever since 9/11?
Yeah.
It's been like, we don't trust the government.
Yeah.
And then
it's just that every, like, 9/11 was here, and then it's just been like closing the elevator doors like more and more. Yeah.
So, I mean, shout out to Snowden for like putting it out there.
Yes.
You know,
yeah,
he needs to be pardoned.
I
think Trump should do that because Biden had the opportunity and he didn't. I don't know why. Instead, he pardoned like pedophiles.
Yeah.
Like, what the was that? Like,
yeah,
what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? So yeah, so I definitely think there needs to be heavy accountability. But let's watch these 2 shorts really quick.
Yeah.
Thank God for shorts, because the actual videos, I would have gotten copyrighted. The shorts don't get copyrighted.
Watch this. Again, look at the brilliance of these people that just want to regulate, who don't know what it is to run a company. Okay, California Department of Insurance is looking for the top 12 homeowners insurance companies in the state to commit. Hey guys, I got a great idea for you. What's that? We want you to commit to writing a minimum of 85% of their policies in under-reserved areas, particularly in high-risk wildfire zones. You know what that kind of means? Let me kind of explain it to you from a life insurance agent side. Hey, you 80, all these 12 insurance companies, we want you to protect all these clients, 85% of them above the age of 80. We want you to sell them life insurance policy. You're like, they're above 80. Yeah, so what? You don't think they deserve life insurance? They're above 80. Life expectancy is 78. You mean to tell me sell them an insurance policy even though they're going to die in the next couple years, so take the loss? It's the noble thing to do. Watch this. Again, look at the brilliance.
Now the next one. Because
if you love regulation, California is like the god of regulation. They love regulating everybody. They think they know what's best for you, especially homeowners insurance companies. They're like, look, here's what you got to do. Proposition 103, passed in 1988. Proposition 103 was designed to protect California policyholders from unfair insurance rate hikes for auto, property, life, and casualty insurance. What's unfair rate hikes? If you have 50 companies competing for insurance, guess what they have to do to get the premium? We're going to sell it lower than you for this age category. We're going to sell it lower than you for this size of homes. That's called capitalism, not over-regulation. You drive people out, California. Next one, rate approval process. Insurance must submit any rate increase over 7% for approval by the California Department of Insurance. If you love regulation, California is like the god.
Yeah, that's it. And this was, he put this last year, but they've been regulating little by little every year. But last year really like took a toll on insurance companies, and they just literally, some of them just pulled out indefinitely, and then some of them just stopped making new policies.
Yeah, of course.
For what? If I literally make money off of insuring people, if I'm insuring people that are a huge liability to me, how am I going to pay for my employees
Yeah.
if I end up having to go bankrupt?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's either me or you. I'm going to choose me every time. You know, it's not a self-interest thing. It's just survival of the fittest, honestly. It's capitalism 101. I just don't understand why Gavin Newsom... 'cause what I really don't understand about this is that he's been in power in California for over a decade. He was the mayor of San Francisco. So it's not like this guy is like new to the game.
No, yeah, he knows.
Like he's been knowing how to be a leader for a long time now.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you make this mistake? To me, it almost looks intentional.
I think it's because he has the wrong people in mind. Like, and I think that's the biggest problem that's happening right now in the US, where it's like, sure, these millions of people voted for me, but I only have like these couple people in mind that I want to help.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Like, yeah, sure, you voted me in because I said the right things to you, but that doesn't mean that I'm here for you.
Right.
I'm here for these people that helped me get the money to be able to talk to you. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Like, so like let's say millions of people voted for him because of, you know, his rhetoric.
Yeah,
The guy tiene tremenda muela. He's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he didn't care about like the people that actually voted for him for like, his good muela. He's like, yeah, I know you all voted for me, but I was lying to y'all because I'm here
in
for
bed
them with these guys.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's the biggest
sure.
problem in the U.S. And not that not only goes for California, but that goes for like a bunch of like different like states and stuff. Like, if you're going to be voted in, then actually do something for the people that voted you in, and not only for them, but for everybody.
Exactly.
That's the whole point.
You're the leader of the state, not for the small people that are controlling you.
Exactly.
Which shows that he's not a real leader. He's a puppet for whoever. Well, I guess more. I think it's more than one person.
Yeah,
I think it's a
it's
group
100%.
of people.
Yeah, it's a group
like
of people.
group of elites that are controlling him, which again doesn't look good on the Democrat Party
at all. It's both sides.
Well, speaking of the Democrat Party, so they wanted the whole ceasefire thing. A lot of people voted for. I don't know if you voted for her for this reason, but a lot of people voted for Kamala. My best friend being one of those people, because she believed that she would have stopped the ceasefire. I think that's a load of horse shit. I don't think she was competent enough to stop it. A, because she's a woman, and those people are extremely misogynist, and they would have been like, shut up, bro, get out of here, you know? And it's reality. Like, we believe that the world is like the West, and it's not. And my boy, shout out to you, Brandon, what he said was extremely controversial, but it's true. If we would have had a woman president, nobody would have taken us seriously, because the majority of the world does not think like the West. They think like, you know, a typical machismo type of, you know, look at the Mideast. Everybody there is Islam. Islam is misogyny at its peak over there. Russia, you think Russia would have been able to take her seriously? Of course not. China, North Korea, no country would have taken her seriously except the West. The Europeans, the Canadians, not even the South America would have taken her seriously, because they're still pretty machito at the same time. So I don't think, I'm glad she didn't win, you know, but obviously, because I told you many times what I thought about her, but voting for her, for those who did, on the base of she would have stopped the ceasefire, is just unrealistic. Like, it wasn't gonna happen. At least not the way that this guy did it.
I don't think she would have stopped the ceasefire, but not because there's women like in leadership. Like, New Zealand has a woman like prime minister.
That's European.
Yeah. No, I know.
You know what I'm saying? It's the West. That is on that liberal vibe.
You're only as strong as your weakest link. So like, yeah, sure, being a woman might have like a negative connotation to some people, but like,
it looks weak.
Yes, but there's women that overpower men all the time.
Yeah, that's great. But it looks weak to the world.
Was she one of those women? In me, no, I would say no. So that's why I say like she wouldn't have been able to do, like, in my opinion, I don't think she would have been able to get that ceasefire done. Like, straight up. Like, I don't think she would. Would she have probably worked towards it? Like, maybe tried 100%.
Of course.
100%. She would have tried, but Whether or not it was like gonna happen, I can't say yes or no because I obviously won't know for sure. But I don't think that her being a woman specifically is the crux to her argument. I think the crux to her argument is just she was just not. She knew how to talk to American society. She knew how to cater to American culture to a certain extent. But
with a teleprompter.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. With whatever. To me, it's just like her energy. Not even like the words she says. It's more like the energy that she gives off. The way that she was talking, I see a lot of. You really
think people took her seriously with the whole cackling? She couldn't stop cackling.
I mean,
have you ever met somebody in politics that laughs like so often like that? That's like a nervous tick that she had.
I mean, it might just be me but to me, it didn't matter. Like that, but that's just me.
But think of it. Don't think of it as you, because think of it as you as a leader of a country like China, for example. You really think China would have taken her seriously? They would have eaten her for lunch, breakfast, and dinner. Which is funny because she used that like, oh, they would have eaten him for lunch, but I don't think that. I think she was projecting.
But I can also act like a dumbass, and then like when it gets to serious moments, I can be serious. So like. It's kind of like an underestimate me type. Like, I'm not saying that's exactly what she was doing, but it could be that she was like, underestimate me, I dare you. And then like when it gets to the situation, it's like you underestimated me, and now I shat on you, type thing. And I'm not saying that that's what she was doing. I'm saying that that's like in the realm of possibilities. Like that's something that could have happened. I don't think that she had the prowess to do that. Like she didn't have like the capacity to be able to do something like that. But it is something that like could be done. I mean, I think that's something that even Trump could do. Like on the world stage, you ask.
Like that's extremely unpredictable.
But,
which is what's scary.
But he's a doofus.
Yeah.
Like for certain things, he's a dumbass.
That's what's scary though, is how unpredictable he is.
The unpredictability and like the unpredictability to me is kind of correlated to undermining, because if you undermine somebody because you like, oh, like it's unpredictable what you're gonna do, and I know that for a certain like your range is this and your unpredictable is between this and this, but if I think that you're gonna be like way more aggressive or way less aggressive, then I know within the range of where you're gonna be. If you end up being within that range, then I know exactly where you're going. But if you end up being more aggressive, then it's like, whoa, I got to change my pace. I got to change exactly what I was saying. I got to change what I'm doing. Is Trump going to do that? Maybe.
Before the ceasefire deal, one of the diplomats that was doing the deal did a press conference with him in Mar-a-Lago. I believe it was last week, and we're gonna put it. Yeah, that's the one. Before we get to it, so I read Choose Your Enemies Wisely by Patrick Bet-David, and then I also read Your Next 5 Moves. And this guy became big because he really liked analyzing mobsters, and he was interviewing mobsters, and that's how he like blew up, right? So in his book, he really tells you as a business owner, you should really analyze mobsters because they are the OGs of business.
Yeah.
And then he goes, I'm not saying to do what they did. I'm saying analyze the mobsters because of their personality, the way they think, whatever. And then I was like, interesting. I think Trump analyzes mobsters because he has like a very mobster-like mentality. And this video kind of shows it with how he reacts when the reporters ask him about the ceasefire. Put it really quick.
He's a member of Mar-a-Lago.
This guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got caught, or not got caught, but like he was golfing with him like months ago.
A bunch of people are members of Mar-a-Lago. It's a freaking resort.
Tomorrow, back to go to Doha. But I think that we've had some really great progress, and I'm really hopeful that by the inaugural, we'll have some good things to announce on behalf of the president.
You can tell.
I actually believe that we're working in tandem in a really good way, but it's the president, his reputation, the things that he has said that are driving this negotiation, and so hopefully it'll all work out and we'll save some lives. I believe we've been on the verge of it. I don't want to discuss sort of what's delayed it. There's no point to be negative in any way. But I think it's the president, his stature, what he said he expects, the red lines he's put out there, that's driving this negotiation. I'm going back probably either this evening or tomorrow night.
Are you confident there'll be a deal before January 20th, or is that something that's likely to happen? If there's a deal even at all, and we've been hearing this now for the better part of.
I know. I would say.
They better be.
There
Right.
better be.
I would
guy's
say
a
that
mobster, bro.
the president is exasperated. I don't want to talk for him, but look, I don't know anyone who delegates better than President Trump. He gives us a lot of authority to speak on his behalf, and he exhorts us to speak emphatically. And emphatically means you better get it. You better do this, because the alternative.
Do you think they're waiting for President Trump to take office?
No, I think they heard him loud and clear. Better get done by the inaugural.
But when you say all hell will
Before I
be paid,
take office.
all hell must be paid if they don't release the hostages.
Well, do I have to define it for you? Look, all
No, I know
hell
you're not
will
gonna
break out.
telegraph
If
what-
those hostages aren't back, I don't want to hurt your negotiation. If they're not back by the time I get into office,
Yeah.
all hell will break out in the Middle East. And it will not be good for Hamas, and it will not be good, frankly, for anyone. All hell will break out. I don't have to say anymore, but that's what it is. And they should have given them back a long time. They should have never taken them.
Yeah.
There should have never been the attack of October 7th. People forget that. But there was.
Like, I don't know why he does that.
Yeah, I don't know why he does that.
It's like this, like, it's part of the brand. Is he part of Tally? Because it's like, where does he? He's so funny. What's up, DJ Lockdown? Thank you so much for joining in and tuning in on this interesting conversation. All right, so there better be this guy. Okay, so I realized this guy was on that mobster vibe when they killed Abu, whatever his face is, and he's like, "We killed him like a dog."
Yeah.
I thought that was so, because they did a video of Obama when they
comparison.
killed him. And then it was
I
so
saw
funny.
it.
Obama was so like polite, so like politically correct, and this guy's like, "We killed him like a dog." Oh my god, it was hilarious.
It was also like
a
30
dog.
minutes longer than Obama. It was like for no reason. Like, for what reason do you need to say so much? Like, you just say, hey, this person is dead, that's it. There's no reason for you to go. He gives them the whole novel, like, hey, this is exactly how we did it. These are the people that were involved. Like, this is the way. Like, bro, just say, hey, this person is dead, and that's it.
So there's another story of like how that happened. He literally had called them up, right? He called the terrorist up. And he sent them a picture of like their house with their families in. He's like, "I will kill you and your family." Yeah. And it's like, yo, that's some mobster shit, dog. So I'm like, this guy doesn't play no games. So yeah, I think we need that. And I think the American people realize, yeah, we do need like this type of vibe in office. This like rough on the edges, like I don't care, unapologetic, like I don't care what you think. I'm going to do what I think is best, you know, versus this like polished, you know, can do no wrong type of vibe, especially because he knows when he makes mistakes versus this chick when they asked her like, oh, you know, what mistakes have you done or whatever? Like, can you own up to a mistake you've made? Or she couldn't even say, you know, what mistake she's made. She's like, oh, I don't know. I would have to look back and see.
But
it's like,
when has Trump?
The political correctness is fucking ridiculous.
When has Trump admitted to his faults?
I mean, he owned up to the vaccine thing. He doesn't. He's like, I don't talk about it because I'm not proud of the warp speed thing, which is pretty big because he's the one who literally
what about
like
him losing the election? That's the biggest one.
That he's not owning up to. He's not owning
That's
up
what
to
I'm saying.
And then most people wouldn't want him to own. I wouldn't want him to own up to that.
But he lost.
That's one of those.
And he did technically own up to it on a podcast.
This is like a little chipped here. Sorry, DD. I saw it.
He owned up to it on the Lex podcast. He was like, "Oh, we lost by a whisker."
Yeah, I mean, he knows he lost.
That's what I'm saying. So why tell your people like, "Oh, we didn't lose"?
He knows he lost because obviously, you know, he wasn't president again, but he doesn't believe he lost justly. If that makes sense.
Doesn't say it like that.
You know.
Don't say we won.
Like I would have, isn't there a rule in 48 Laws of Power where it says don't claim defeat or something like that? Can fact check that? I'm pretty sure somewhere in that book, I have to read it, but I'm just going by what other people have said. But I think somewhere in that book, it does say don't claim defeat, which is like,
But sometimes defeat happens.
But was it just...
It happened.
Was it...
You lost. If I'm competing against you and I know that, like, it's just such a weird scenario because when it's on the world stage, it's like a different level where like nobody can even compare anything to it. So like I can't even tell you like we're competing in like a soccer game or anything because it's on a world stage. On a world stage, it's like such a different perspective that you have to look at things because on the world stage, you have billions of people holding you, some to a lower level of scrutiny, but some to like such a high level of scrutiny where it's like you need to be perfect. And like obviously most people are gonna fall in the middle, but there's still those extremes. So like why, if you know that those extremes happen and because in my opinion, he caters mostly to the right extreme. Like he doesn't cater to the center, he doesn't cater to the left, he caters to the right extreme, like extreme right.
What does that mean? What do you mean by extreme right? Talking about the ones who went to January 6th?
I mean, yeah.
There's people that went to January 6th and didn't go into the Capitol.
No, 100%. Because the people but that's what I'm saying. Like, there's people that fall in the middle, but then there's people that fall on the extreme side, and that he knew what words to say to push those extreme people.
But you can't deny the fact that particular election was extremely different than any other election.
100%, but because of the COVID.
Exactly. So what makes you believe that it was a fair election? If the COVID was involved, there was mail-in ballots involved, there was a lot of nonsense with the mail-in ballots, there was censorship because of the Biden-Hunter laptop. So you can't deny the fact that if a lot of those things wouldn't have happened, he probably would have won. I'm actually glad he lost, though.
So then he should run on changing the Electoral College because he lost because of the Electoral College. I mean, he didn't
lose because of the Electoral College.
But
he lost because of the censorship and because of the mail-in ballots, not because of the Electoral College.
But the Electoral College is ultimately, like, at the end of the day, the Electoral College is what made the final decision. Whether or not, like, the things before the
But that's not what he's fighting for. He's not fighting about the Electoral College.
But that's what I'm saying. He should be fighting the
Electoral College.
And that's the problem.
But why? That's the system. You can't change the system. The system is there.
Because the popular vote, sure, might have voted for him, but it's happened times before that you can lose the popular vote and win the Electoral College.
Because that's what matters is the Electoral College, not the popular vote. The popular vote is just the opinion of the people. That's not what matters.
Media,
it's the state,
the news,
that matters.
and all that stuff doesn't matter because at the end of the day, the only people that matter are those electoral votes.
Correct. Yes.
So if the electoral votes are the only ones that matter, and they're the ones that ultimately are the reason why he lost, in my opinion, what I would do is, I lost because of the Electoral College, I'm getting rid of the Electoral College.
But that's not why he lost. He lost because of the mail-in ballots.
But
the mail-in ballots is what creates the votes for the Electoral College. Yes, that is what happens.
Yeah, but so then, if that's true, then why did he send people in Alabama that weren't supposed to go to vote? The Electoral College.
We don't know if that's even true because Fannie Willis was already been kicked out of that case. None of the cases that have been put on Donald Trump are even 100% accurate, and there's been plenty of lawyers have said they're all bogus cases.
The one that he said is guilty and didn't get any sentence. That's nepotism.
Like there shouldn't be a sentence. You cannot sentence a president. He was elected to be president. The judge shouldn't have never even sentenced him.
If I tell you you're guilty,
never sentenced him, but the fact that you tried to sentence him is ridiculous.
If you're guilty, you're guilty. You deserve some
You
kind
are
of punishment.
a president. You cannot.
I don't care. That's a monarchy. That's imperialism.
So then you don't believe in democracy.
That's imperialism.
So you don't believe in democracy.
No, I believe in democracy.
If you do believe in hold on. If you believe in democracy, why would you think that it's perfectly fine for a president-elect to go to prison just because you don't like him?
No, that's not because I don't like him. If
millions of people voted for him, and you think because he's guilty, he should go to prison. That's a banana republic.
If I commit a crime and
so then Biden should go to prison then because Biden has committed crimes.
100%.
No,
100%.
That's a banana republic. And I don't like Biden, but I don't think he should go to prison.
If I commit a crime and less than a year later, I run for president and I become president, and then they find out later, like in my presidency, that I committed that crime, I should go to prison 100%, because there's nobody above the law. That's a monarchy.
There is a law that says you cannot indict a president-elect. That is
Where?
That is a law.
Where?
You can look it up. The Supreme Court has already passed it. There's
Then when?
a
They
long
passed
ass
it-
time
they
ago.
passed- no, there's no
Yes,
way.
they did.
There's no way.
And they redid a new one that says you are immune of not full immunity but partial immunity
There's
of
no way.
crimes. Yes,
There's
there
no
is.
way.
Look it up.
There's no
There is
way.
a law that was passed years and years ago that said if you are president-elect, you cannot go to prison, because then how are we not any different from any banana republic?
Because
You would be able to.
we've never had a
Dude,
criminal.
you would be able to freaking imprison Obama for killing a bunch of people in Syria and Libya. You would be able to imprison all those people. That is insanity.
Yeah, and-
that's not a democracy.
But you know who started that? Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney was the one that started pushing those powers that when you're in office, that like you can, oh yeah, it's official. It's an official action.
That's pretty sure. When was it that they put the law that if you are a president-elect, you're not allowed to be indicted? This happened way before Dick Cheney. This is like an old ass law that's been in the books for God knows when, since the beginning of time in this country, for a reason. Because if you were to have a reason to indict every president who's done something wrong, then we would be like any other banana republic. You would not be able to take us seriously as
the president is above the law?
No, it's just he's not above the law.
That's what it is.
He was not guilty of any crime.
If there's a trial,
I mean,
I'm not saying
you can put a trial for anything.
But that's what I'm
you
saying.
I can literally claim that you raped me even though you didn't, and I'll send your ass to prison. That's not okay.
If there's a jury and the jury ultimately decides you're
We
guilty,
don't know if that jury was even a biased jury.
That doesn't
because
matter.
it was in Georgia, where it was extremely liberal. Fannie Willis is liberal. She was having sex with her assistant. Like that whole case was flawed from the very beginning.
Wasn't it the New York one that got?
That was also flawed. They
That's
all
what I'm
have been
saying,
taken down. Smith, what's that guy's name? Adam Smith, is that his name?
So when is Trump going to take responsibility for anything?
Yes,
There's no law. No person is above the law.
There is one that says
No person.
there is. Yes,
No
there is.
person
There
is above the law.
DOJ literally put it the other day. There is some type of proposition or
Let me read
something.
this?
Yes,
Go.
look it up.
It's based on DOJ guidelines from memos in 1973 and 2000, which argue that prosecuting a sitting president would interfere with their duties. It said the Constitution provides impeachment as the way to address misconduct.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
there
but
is
they're not
no
gonna impeach
law
him.
stating a president cannot be
Okay,
impeached.
so what is it? It's
No
a
person.
DOJ. What is it? DOJ what?
It's a memo.
DOJ guidelines. Just
Yeah, it's just
Okay,
like a memo.
But
And it was around the time that Dick
who's
Cheney
supposed
was
to
there.
be prosecuting? The DOJ. So the DOJ has to go with their own guidelines.
But there's nobody
They
above
can't
the
just,
law.
like-
There should be nobody above the law. If there's actually somebody above the law, then they.
Dude, do you
they're just gonna
understand that
do
if
whatever.
they were to have imprisoned him, there would be a civil war in this country? You understand that, right? Like, that's why that doesn't make any sense. Why would you want that? Why would you want thousands of people to go into the streets with guns?
Don't you think that's kind of cultish?
No, that is what a democracy is. If we want this guy in and you put him behind bars because you don't like his rhetoric or you don't like his personality or
But if-
whatever BS you want to give, you're asking for civil war in this country.
But if he committed a crime, and the law says that any person that commits a crime has to get punished for it, and he literally committed a crime, got indicted for it,
The
and
Supreme Court
is not going to get
Supreme
any
Court
kind of
already
punishment.
looked into it and said that mentality
It's his
is
Supreme
wrong.
Court. It's his Supreme
It's
Court.
not his Supreme Court.
Yes, it is.
There are other people that were there way before
It's 4-3.
added.
No, it's 4-3.
What do you mean it's 4-3?
It's 4-3. He
added 4 and there was already 3. Okay, doesn't matter. It's the fact that
And
it doesn't matter whose Supreme Court it is.
Because it's yes.
The Supreme
yes.
Court decided, and we have to abide by the Supreme Court.
You don't think if there would have been 4 left and 3 right, that would have been completely different?
I don't know because
I
there
think so.
isn't. So
No,
I don't know. If
that's what I'm trying to
if
say,
that's
though.
the case, then why the liberals that are in the Supreme Court right now voted to ban TikTok? It was a 9-0 rule.
But
Just because you're a liberal, just because they're liberals doesn't mean they're gonna side with my opinion, far left.
So my stance on the TikTok ban, it changed throughout like within the past week. You can ask one of my best friends, like you can ask Anthony, like I was like super for the ban, because to me TikTok is brain rot.
I agree with the reasoning behind the ban of the Supreme Court. I agree with it. I also respect the Supreme Court. I don't like the fact that the left doesn't, and it makes me, it kind of irks me, because it's like, that is the law of the land. They decided he has partial immunity. I don't understand. I don't understand why we continue to go on this, like,
because everything passes 4-3. Everything has always, like, when the college thing was happening, they were paying off college debt, it passed 4-3, as in they weren't allowing to pay college debt.
Thank God. Why would the hell would you want that? Can you give
education
me water,
should be
please?
free.
It should not be free.
Education should be free.
It should not be free.
Education is a right.
Public education is not free. You're paying for it.
Education should be a right.
$13,000 per kid.
Education is a right, not a privilege.
Tell that to Cubans. They're starving, but they got free education.
They
so it's not. It shouldn't be free
because it was badly implemented, and that's an extreme version of communism, where it nothing was going to work.
Nothing remotely socialist in history has benefited.
Okay, so Cuba's a perfect example. Cuba's like literally one of the most perfect examples, because it's such a short, it's such a small area, and there's such a limited amount of money. So this is actually, this is perfect. Who was sucking up the most money in the Cuban economy?
I don't know.
Fidel. Okay. Fidel had houses in every single province, to the point where I lived next to one of his biggest houses. He had houses everywhere. He would suck up the money and give them to the
Wasn't
people.
He a socialist? So you just proving my point.
He ran under a socialist, but you can be socialist and be so far extreme socialist where it turns into communism.
Give me a socialist that actually believes in capitalism.
But that's the thing, that there's no, I don't believe
there isn't one.
No, but that's not what I'm trying to say. So you can have socialist policies and you can have non-socialist
policies. We do
have
socialist policies.
That's what I'm saying.
We have WIC, we have food stamps, we have Social Security.
So why isn't healthcare in there? Why are we the only nation in the world?
I mean, we have health, we have free healthcare for people that, no, we do have. Obamacare is socialized healthcare.
And it's shit.
Exactly my point.
But why is it shit?
Because socialized doesn't work.
Why is it shit?
It's terrible.
Why is it shit? Is it not shit because from the very beginning that they tried to implement free healthcare, the right has been trying to stop them from doing so? Because the right is in bed with the insurance companies.
And the left isn't?
Oh, 100%.
The left is in bed.
But that's what I'm saying.
The left is more in bed with pharmaceutical companies than the right is. Yes, they are.
They're both in bed with them.
They are hardcore in bed.
To them, it doesn't matter. To them, it's
I
whoever's
think
in there.
it's worse because they want the whole hormone therapy for kids and all that jazz. So I think it's way worse.
They have so much money that it doesn't matter. That whoever's in power, they'll just give the money to them.
There's no reason why education should be free.
So health.
It is a privilege to be educated.
So
and
healthcare is a privilege?
Yes. If you want to take care of your health, you should pay for it. It is your health. Why should I have to pay for your health? It's not my fault you want to be unhealthy. Why should I have to pay for it? Now,
but what if I have no choice?
Now, that's not my problem.
So
that's not my problem. I know it sounds harsh, but at the end of the day, I'm a capitalist. I shouldn't have to pay for your health insurance.
We're gonna remain to be the only nation in the world without free healthcare.
We do have. I just said we have Obamacare. That is free healthcare.
That's trash.
I mean,
we both agree that that's trash.
Yes, because socialized healthcare is trash.
Because it wasn't implemented in the way that it should be implemented. Because
that's Obama's fault. He's the one who implemented
that. It's
not
solely that, and that's the problem. It's not solely his fault.
It's called Obamacare. He literally put Obamacare. You want everybody to be like, it's my health insurance.
Affordable Care Act. ACA.
Yeah. But
ACA.
It's under Obamacare.
Who put Obamacare?
A bunch of.
It was the right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The right.
He was a great salesman. He's a great salesman.
But the right gave it the connotation of Obamacare. If he would have run it as the ACA, as the Affordable Care Act,
they do.
Why do you think that they had to change the name of it? Why do you think the right had to change the name of the way that they talk about it? Why did they think they had to put Obama on the name of it? Because they knew that there's people that are divided within the same, like Obama, like with the word Obama, it makes it controversial. Just like me saying Trump care.
You do realize that if you were to socialize healthcare, abortions would be free. Why the fuck would you want that? Why would you want...
Because abortion should be free.
No, it shouldn't be free.
Healthcare should be free.
No, it shouldn't be free.
100%.
You should not be killing a child out of my tax
You know why you
expenses.
think healthcare shouldn't be free? Because we have so much money just draining out of our system.
I think the only reason why I think healthcare shouldn't be free is because it is an individual thing. It is an individual. It's health. It's an individual concept. So it should not be a socialized concept. It should not be a collective concept. If I want to take care of my body, then I should be able to do that.
So if I'm born with a sickness and you're not, I should have to pay more for just living than you do.
But that's not my fault.
But I was born with it.
That is the insurance
so it's my
company.
Fault?
That is not my fault or the government's fault. That's the insurance company's fault.
So cut the insurance company out.
No, the insurance companies just need to have more capitalism. There needs to be more capitalism.
More capitalism than what's happening now?
There's not enough capitalism on insurance companies.
What do you mean? They literally had to cap insulin at $25.
Which is a terrible idea because it only makes things more expensive.
We're the only country in the world where we have to pay for insulin like that.
Yeah,
because there's people that literally have to get medicine from other countries.
Whoever's negotiating is a terrible negotiator. That's why.
You really think that? You don't think that it's the pharmaceutical companies just trying to wring every single cent out of you?
No, I think that whoever's negotiating with the pharmaceutical companies is doing a shitty job, and that's why we're having this problem right now.
I think that's what they want.
The amount of insurance companies that we have when it comes to healthcare is extremely small amount when it comes to the middle class. And I think that is a problem.
But
if we were to have more insurance companies, then we wouldn't even be having this conversation because there would be an actual capitalist rates and we would be able to pick and choose what actual insurance company we want to pick for.
Perfect.
That's not a thing right now.
I agree. Okay,
but it has nothing to do with socializing insurance.
So if
you're pretty much saying, let's create a membership where we all pitch in for insurance. That's not what I want. I want a variety of insurance and we get to pick which insurance we want. That's how it's supposed to be.
And you can do that. Both things can be true. You can have free healthcare and still have like private healthcare companies. Both of them can be completely true, where you help out the most poverty people, the people that are most in poverty.
That's already a thing, though.
But
it's called Medicaid.
But it's not, because how much help are you actually getting? How many?
Dude, everything is free for Medicaid users. What are you talking about?
Nope.
Yes, it is. I worked with the ACA Act, and people that were on Medicaid get everything free, including dental, which is crazy.
And what's the level of money that you have to make to be able to qualify for that? Like nothing, right?
Terrible.
So you're cutting out the entire middle class. You're cutting out the entire middle class for capitalism.
But the middle class gets insurance from their employer.
So why not make it, okay, perfect, fine. So why not make it a system where this is the foundation. This is the base. Nothing can get cheaper than this. This is the shittiest quality of healthcare that you can possibly get, and it's provided by the government. It's the shittiest.
We already have that.
But for everybody. Free healthcare for everybody. It's the shittiest quality. Now, you can choose whether you want the best quality healthcare. It's the most. It's the highest. Like the one that you have to pay like $1 million a month to just to keep it. 100%. Like you need to pay to keep it, but it's the best quality. You have the best surgeons. You call them and they immediately answer type stuff. You have the best. You can pay for that.
You do know that. Okay, if you're a doctor, wait, hold on. I have some people here. We also have Medicaid and Medicare. Exactly. The government covers you up to you're 18 and then you're on your own. Actually, they cover you up now until you're like 26. So you're getting covered up to your 26. I have Medicaid and they didn't cover everything. Explain why, because maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a specific reason why they didn't cover you.
Because there's deductibles, there's politics in the way, because it's...
I've literally, at least maybe it's because you don't have a family. Because when you're family, you get covered.
It's the government butting heads with the companies.
Not even my son's pediatrician accepts it. Yeah, I mean, that's a problem. Okay, but the reason why, this is a problem I have with the whole socialist concept. You are disregarding the doctor. The doctor wants to get paid an X amount of money because they busted their ass to be a doctor.
So why isn't that a problem in India? Why is that a problem anywhere else?
That has nothing to do with, I don't give a fuck about India. I care about America. India's India, we are Americans.
Yeah.
So don't compare any other country. We're talking about America. If the doctor wants to get paid X amount of money, Medicaid does not pay out because they're cheap. Government is cheap. They spend money on things they're not supposed to. When it comes to things they should, they don't pay. When it comes to private insurance will pay you whatever the fuck you want. So as a doctor, why would you want Medicaid when you can have somebody that has private insurance?
Because there's good doctors and then there's also scummy doctors, and this is just a small fraction of the argument.
A doctor has a right to put whatever rate they want. If you can't afford, it sucks to be you.
I'm not talking about the rate. I'm talking about, I'm a doctor and I see you And I can tell that there's like two or three things that are wrong with you. But like, I can also say, this is wrong with you, and you need to take this medicine, and to take this medicine, you have to pay $500. And guess what? I get commission for telling you that you need to take this specific medicine because this specific company is paying me, because that's capitalism.
That's not capitalism. That's not capitalism.
It's money.
That's not capitalism.
It's money.
That's draconian corporations. That's not capitalism.
That's
capitalism is a variety of companies that have different rates, and you get to pick and choose what rate it is. What you're talking about is not capitalism. That's called corruption.
It's the doctor,
not capitalism.
but it's the doctor choosing what if that medicine doesn't do you anything for you?
I mean,
and that happens.
Go to a different doctor.
But how do you know? You're not a doctor, and you're trusting my opinion, and I'm telling you, take this medicine because it's going to help you.
Again, it's an individual thing. You have plenty of other doctors you can go to. You don't have to stick to one doctor.
But I'm paying for health insurance. So if I'm paying for health insurance, if I'm giving money to somebody to be able to, for me to see you, and you're my doctor, and you tell me, hey, go see this, there's already so much money invested that I'm going to trust whatever you say wholeheartedly.
But that's your choice to trust them. You don't have to trust them.
But that's everybody.
You have
no choice.
Insurance companies cover millions of doctors. You act like there's only one doctor you can go to. You can go to a bunch of them. You can go to 5 until you find the right doctor for you.
What I'm saying is that you don't know the difference between the scummy and the good doctors. You can't tell whether the doctor is actually going to sign you up for a medicine that you need, or actually tell you something that you actually need, rather than somebody that...
But again, that's your decision, though. As an individual.
But you don't know what the doctor's intentions are. You don't know if the doctor is actually thinking of you or is actually thinking of themselves first. Because if they're and this is something that I've said many times before, if I see a doctor and the doctor is only thinking about how much money they can make out of me, I don't want you as my doctor. I don't, because you're only thinking about money.
Yeah, of course. But you're acting like all doctors are like that when they're not.
But
you're assuming that all doctors are going to be like that doctor.
That's what it's incentivizing. Because
sure, I agree with you. We need to change the healthcare education system for sure. But it doesn't change the fact that that's not going to, by you socializing healthcare, that's not going to solve the corruption in the education system of healthcare.
Yeah, 100% it will.
How is it going to solve it?
I'm not saying it's going to 100% solve it, but it'll definitely help it.
How is it going to solve it? How is it going to help it? What is me paying a membership going to stop from scummy doctors being scum?
You know that medical bankruptcies is the biggest thing affecting our economy right now, right?
Yes. Okay, but you're not answering the question. If I'm paying $50 a month out of let's say it's $50 a month. Let's hypothetical here. We implement
it's
this.
Nowhere near $50.
We're paying $50 a month, the shittiest of the shittiest, and then how is that supposed to stop doctors from being shitty doctors?
Because of the corporations that are in charge of the actual medicines that they're implementing. Because if the doctor's working with the medicines and they're not working with you to get you the right medicines, and they're working with the medicine company themselves, then they're actually thinking of how much money they can make out of you. It's a product.
But why am I paying a monthly membership for Big Pharma to make money out of me?
You're doing that now.
Why are we? But I'm not. I'm very against pharmaceutical companies. I'm against the healthcare system as it is right now. But I don't even think, the reason why I don't think we should have a socialized system, and we don't have one aside from like Medicaid, Medicare, all that stuff, is because of the fact that I shouldn't have to give money to pharmaceutical companies to make them richer. Why would you want that?
But we wouldn't make them richer as if we tax.
Instead, what you should do is literally,
if anything, they'll be less rich.
The education system itself of the healthcare system. Teach doctors what actual nutrition is. Teach doctors to stop giving people meds just because that's what they're programmed to do. You don't like.
No amount of education is going to change the incentive that big money gives. I can teach you how to be the best.
That's why we need to go after Big Pharma, because they are the freaking problem. But socializing the system is not going after Big Pharma. You're making them bigger.
Yes, 100%.
You're making them bigger. You're not making them smaller. You're making them bigger.
The biggest hit that you can hit to Big Pharma is setting a foundation. Hey, nothing can be more expensive than this. Nothing can be cheaper than this. You socialize it in that way, everybody else has to fall in line.
Everybody will be paying for Big Pharma to make more money.
Why
the hell would you want that?
I feel okay paying money because I'm gonna be straight up. I don't go to the doctor. Like, you can ask my girlfriend. I barely go to the doctor.
So then why would you want to pay for something you don't even use?
I already pay for it.
What do you mean you already pay for it?
I already pay for health insurance and I don't use it. So what's the difference between paying it for it
yeah, but
with my paycheck?
You can stop paying for it because you don't use it. If it's socialized, you're gonna pay for it whether you use it or you don't.
And then I stop using it, and then something happens, and then guess what? I have to file for bankruptcy because it's so expensive. Because everything that has to do,
but that doesn't have anything to do with socializing. That has everything to do with the
because
health.
you set the outline.
No, it doesn't. That has to do with the health industry.
Yeah.
What is that? How? Okay,
they're correlated.
But you're continuing to. It's a wishful thinking. You putting socialized healthcare is not going to stop big pharma for being evil.
So why does it work everywhere else?
I mean, I don't think it works for everywhere else.
Sweden, Canada, Spain,
really,
Germany.
Canada's a terrible. Canada's going down right now.
Yeah, but I'm talking about healthcare.
Canada literally has in Vancouver a huge problem with drugs.
People literally
when
leave
it comes
the
to health,
US.
Canada's not the
people
greatest.
literally leave the US to get procedures done.
Yeah, I know.
Isn't that the whole crux
that has
of
nothing
capitalism?
to do with, that has nothing to do with it though. That has to do with the fact that they're literally, I mean,
because it's
price
too
gouging.
expensive.
They're price gouging.
Exactly.
Okay, but socializing is not going to make it any better.
Socializing means that you have.
If anything, it might just make it worse because it can increase it every time. Oh, inflation! So you're not going to be paying $50. You're going to be paying $100 a month now.
By socializing, you set the
you
barrier.
You are asking the government. You're trusting the government with money when they have proven to you that they're untrustworthy.
Yeah.
So doesn't make sense. Because why would you trust the government with money when they've already proven to you that they're incompetent with the money that you are already giving them?
My level of distrust with the government right now has nothing to do with my intentions of what the government should be doing. My level of distrust with the government shouldn't affect my opinions on how I feel like people should be living their lives. Because people, like, you can distrust the government and you can be like, I don't trust the government to do. And right now, especially with Donald Trump coming into office and putting in literally the most richest person in the world in like the White House.
It's gonna be fucking awesome.
Is an oligarchy. Yeah. That's straight up an oligarchy.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. It's not an oligarchy, but we're gonna get to that.
Straight up an oligarchy.
Yeah, because the Democrat Party is not an oligarchy. That's why you guys didn't have a primary, right? Because you guys are not an oligarchy.
The richest person in the whole world is going to be somebody that lies about cheating on video games.
Who cares? Who gives a shit?
No. If you can...
you do know you sound really hypocritical right now, right? Because the person you voted for had 83 billionaires on her side. And they did not have a primary.
And
they booted Biden out.
I agree.
How is that not an oligarchy?
I don't agree with either one of them. They've been
oligarchy forever.
They're but
forever.
But an oligarchy is literally the billionaires in charge.
You cannot say that these people are oligarchs when these people have been oligarchs forever now, and they're just projecting what they are.
It's the level of it.
Okay, but you cannot say you're stupid when I'm stupid too. You know what I'm saying?
I can say
it's hypocritical.
I can say, hey, you're way more stupid for putting somebody, like literally the richest person in the world, in the White House, than the person that is putting somebody that's way less. I can call you more stupid than the other person.
I don't see how that would be.
You're both still stupid as fuck.
He is going to be in the White House.
He is going to be in the White House.
He's not going to be like...
He's $400 billion. He doesn't pay taxes. He doesn't contribute anything to the government. So why
what are you talking about? He did... SpaceX is part of the government.
SpaceX,
and it's done more than NASA, which is really bad because NASA's been which is funded by the government forever already.
If you put a dollar on the table right now, and I tell you, hey, split it up into the budget of the U.S., how much do you think NASA would get?
I don't know. I just know they're doing a terrible job.
Less than a cent.
They're like the worst. One of the worst industries we're funding right now is NASA.
If I put a dollar, I put one single dollar, and I tell you, hey, split it up in the same way.
Are you claiming that
they're underfunded?
Doesn't SpaceX is funded less than NASA?
No.
Dude, NASA's been around for longer than SpaceX.
Government funding.
NASA's been around for longer than SpaceX.
Yes.
And yet NASA's done nowhere near what SpaceX has done. So what does that tell you? Government funded agencies don't do what they're supposed to be doing.
Because they have given
like
them
in
no
delusion
money.
right
No,
now.
because they haven't given them any money. That's what I'm saying. If you have
so you would have been okay with this other guy, what's his face, that was
Who?
like talking for Kamala Harris, who's also a billionaire.
Who?
He's like a known investor. What's his name? Fucking Cuban, Mark Cuban.
Oh yeah, but Mark Cuban wasn't going to be in the White House.
Yes, he was. He wanted to be head of the FCC. He said it. He said, "I want her to win because I want her to be a part of the FCC."
I would have disagreed anyways because I agree with Khan.
With who?
Lena Khan.
Who's Lena Khan?
She's in the FCC right now. She's the head of the FCC.
Okay. Well,
So I would have disagreed with him anyways, because I don't agree with that. Any kind of billionaire should be in the White House to begin with, because that to
Why
me is
not?
the definition of an oligarchy.
why not? They're Americans.
That doesn't matter.
If you're born in this country and you're a billionaire and you want to run for office
Musk
and
wasn't
you
born
get no, he can't run. But I'm saying if you're a billionaire and you're born here and you want to run, why shouldn't you be able to run if you're a billionaire?
Yeah.
Isn't that discriminating?
Yeah,
You're
but
discriminating
he'll-
against them
He'll
versus
get
the
vetted,
politician.
He'll get vetted. They'll run him questions. They'll make sure that there's a process for that. There's a process. Whether or not he would have reached the end of it, who knows? Like, we don't know for sure if things would have gone the other way and he would have actually gone to and Kamala would have been like, yeah, you're going to be part of the FCC. Who knows if we would have reached the end of the process? It's a high possibility that he might have not. Sure, there's also a high possibility that he could have, because of how much influence he has, like money wise and stuff like that.
He has a lot
but
of
there's
influence.
also a possibility that he could have gotten denied. Just like there's any possibility right now that any of Trump's people could get denied.
I don't think they're going to get denied.
I mean, it's always in the realm of possibility.
Pray God.
It's not like for sure they're gonna get
Especially
denied.
Cash Patel. I want that guy in, man. I can't wait for Cash Patel. Ooh. And Pam Bondi.
Pam Bondi is
oh
a-
man,
yikes.
bruh. I am living it up with these guys. Oh, hold on.
To me, it's
uh,
Pete Hegseth. That's the biggest piece of shit.
I don't really care. I don't see him as a piece of shit. I brought him up last time and you had nothing to say about Pete Hegseth.
Yeah, but then I learned
now all
about
of a
him.
sudden you
Yeah, because
you
then
have a
I
fucking opinion.
I learned more about him.
Not
and all
even
this
my
shit.
son's pediatrician accepts it. That's crazy. Change your pediatrician, bro. Damn, that's unlucky. The pediatrician attempted to accept Medicaid, but they weren't paying what was promised. That's why I had to get personal insurance.
Because it doesn't help at all. Because
He's proving that socializing this not.
Socializing it. because-
Medicaid is socializing. You're paying for it. I'm paying for it.
But it's such a low level.
That's what you want. You literally just said a couple of minutes ago.
Yes.
We should have very shitty ass insurance where we all pay
Yes.
for it. Medicaid.
That's lower than what I'm trying to say, because my foundation is anything that has to do like healthcare where you don't have to pay for it, and it's everybody.
But
It
Americans
doesn't matter how
don't
much
want
money.
that though. Americans don't want that.
Why do you say that when the biggest? That's why I said the biggest bankruptcy that's happening right now in the U.S. is
You're asking me why. I'm telling you, Americans don't want that. Americans
Why do
don't
you
want
think that?
socialized healthcare.
So they want to continue being bankrupt because of medical problems.
I'm telling you that they just, I don't know.
People are scared to call the ambulance.
I can't tell you why they don't want it. I'm assuming that they believe it's not American. They believe it's not capitalist. They believe that they don't want to be like every other country. I don't know. I'm just giving you like the polls. Americans don't want socialized insurance. If that's the case, we would have voted for Bernie Sanders and he lost.
I don't think that was because if Trump would have run on solely that, he would have lost.
Yeah, for sure. That's why you
But that's
need
what I'm
to
saying.
see how much you covered. Yeah, exactly. I am 100% on private insurance. I think private insurance should be more
So they should have more power.
no, there should be more private insurance. Like private insurance is so exclusive. Why? Make it more.
Why?
Bring more private insurances.
Why?
These other insurances are garbage.
Perfect. That's a perfect question. Why?
I don't know. Ask the insurance companies. I have no idea.
Do you not think that it has something to do with how capitalism works and how they have so much money and money equals power? So if I have all this money and you want to get into my industry, you don't think that me having all this money and all this power, I can stop you?
You would make more money if you were to make it not so exclusive. So it doesn't make sense.
That's not true.
Why? How does that not make sense?
Because in a lot of people's views, If I hold all the position, I hold the monopoly, I'm as close as possible to the monopoly, and I can stop you from joining my business, I will do anything in my power to stop you. I will put barrier after barrier after barrier. Why? Because I have all the money to stop you. So how are you going to compete against me?
I'm confused. I'm so confused.
I have hundreds of millions of dollars at my disposal.
Hold on.
You're a new insurance.
Okay,
yeah.
Private insurances. I don't know how many there are, but there's not enough, and that's why they're so expensive.
How do you join that?
So I want to know. What I want is more private insurance,
exactly.
Not less private insurance.
I know. That's what I'm trying to say. That's literally my point. How is there going to be more? If the people that are right now holding on to those positions, how are they going to let more people join? That's more competition.
That's what you're saying. Okay.
If I have $100 million and you join,
I mean, that's not capitalism, though. Capitalism is competition. That's not capitalism. That's a monopoly.
It's late stage capitalism.
That's a monopoly.
It's late stage capitalism, and that's what we're living in right now. Late stage capitalism.
But I don't agree with that. I think we need more capitalism when it comes to that.
How are
I don't know. Make more insurance companies that are private.
How are you going to make that happen? There has to be something that gives some kind of rule to like, hey, you need to let more people join the competition. So how? What is?
Create a law, I guess. Pass a bill. That's the only thing I can think of. That's the only thing.
Exactly.
If they were to have more private insurances, socialized insurance wouldn't even be needed. People would want private insurance.
I agree, but the problem right now is that the insurance companies that are in power are not going to let anybody else join in on that.
That's draconian as hell.
They're not gonna let that happen. Same with Walmart, same with Apple, same with all these fat ass fucking companies.
Yeah,
they're
Walmart
not
destroyed a
They're
lot of
not
businesses.
gonna, and that's late stage capitalism. That's literally what's happening. When you have so much money that you can literally just stomp on anybody else. It doesn't matter if I have $1 billion and the person that's trying to join my industry has $1 million. I'm going to shit on you.
Right.
Because if I even have the 1% thought that you're going to shit, like even take 1% of my market share, I'm not going to let you.
Right.
So why would I let you? I'm going to make anything possible for you to not do it. That's late stage capitalism.
So you would have to literally create. Okay, so we agree that so you do want more private insurance.
100%. Yeah, that's
cool.
my point.
We created a common ground, guys.
Yeah.
We both agree that we need more private insurance companies. Woo! Yeah. You see, when we come to a common ground, the truth comes out. All right, so then they would have to pass a law to stop that from happening.
So that's why I'm saying, like, to me, the easiest way...
That would be awesome.
For me, the easiest way is to put somebody that is front and center and have a stable, like just a pillar of you can't change these prices. If the government is there and is like, yo, these are the prices for these certain things, you can't go past these prices. Like these are the prices that it's like a permanent competitor, right? There's somebody that's permanently there. You can't get rid of that competitor. You can join, but at a certain point, you have so much power that you know that there's a permanent competitor there. So you can't boot anybody else because you know that there's going to be more competition on the other side. So like, that's why to me, the simplest way is just socialize it, put a permanent like pillar there and just leave it there and then have the rest of the private, like let them consume themselves.
Okay, I see what you mean. So what you're saying is have like a Medicaid 2.0 where it's actually decent insurance.
Yeah.
And then at the same time have a variety of private insurances. Okay, fine. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I will pay for Medicaid 2.0 if there is a variety of private insurances.
Yeah, I'm not saying to only have that's the extreme level of social. Yeah, like that's the and it's partially my fault because sometimes I don't fully I think in a way where it's like my explanation really isn't like the most full, so it takes a while for me to fully get there.
It's alright, bro. We did the weave.
Yeah. So, but ultimately, my position is that like I'm not fully like full socialist. I agree that there has to be some level of capitalism because there has to be.
Yeah.
You can, and
That's
Cuba's
how you make the monies, man. That's how you make the Benjamins, baby.
100%.
The
but,
shekels.
But if the only way we're looking is that we only need to make the money, and we're not looking at like how we can help actual people, then we're fucked.
Yeah. I
So
see what you mean.
Competition is the crux of it.
My dog. Hi guys, thank you guys for joining in. Appreciate you guys. Those of you who have not subscribed to YouTube, subscribe. Since you guys are already here, Mary Truth Talks. All right. So, DJ Lockdown, we need to ban TikTok. Wow, you just went to that. Cool.
That's hilarious.
This guy just went to that. He's like, all right, we're done talking about the insurance.
All right, no more healthcare.
Can you get to the good stuff, bro? Like, Jesus
Talk to me about
Christ.
TikTok, please.
Like, talk to me about TikTok. Yes, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to it. All right. Well, I mean, relax. Let's do the Gaza. We haven't even finished that.
Hit me.
Okay, so there's a YouTube video with Gaza.
Yep.
Do the last one, not the second, the third one. Yeah, that one, the Fox one. Yeah, that one.
I love this guy. I think that's Julian. Is that his name?
I don't know. I don't know this guy. I just saw it. I liked that he was
wrong.
there. So I was like, yeah, let's choose this.
There's a reporter that I've been following that reports on Israel. I don't know if that's him though. He looks like him.
Do we know now, Trey? Do we have eyes on some of these hostages that have just been released?
I like the
video. I don't know if it's Fox.
Yeah, right here in Tel Aviv. You can hear the crowd erupting behind me. I'm going to have my cameraman pan to the screen here. This is local Israeli television, and there is a split screen from Gaza. If you look on the left side of this screen, it is the first image of one of these hostages about to be released from Hamas captivity. Remember, there are 3 of them who will be released today. Just to give you a sense of what it's like in this crowd here, though, there was so much anticipation. The Israelis didn't know if these women would be released alive or dead. And again, this was the first image that they were able to see, at least one of them alive.
Like
we understand that the Red Cross is right now working to get these hostages to the IDF along the Gaza border. And again, just more cheers from this crowd as they're getting the first piece of good news in 15 months. There are 3 women that are set to be released today. A woman named Romi, a woman named Daron, and a woman named Emily. 2 of them were taken from Kfar Aza, one of the small communities along the border, and one of them from the Nova Music Festival. And again, they're just seeing these images for the first time. Live images from the Gaza Strip, and at least one of these hostages surrounded by fighters from Hamas's Al-Qassam brigades. It's just a disconnect that these civilians here have dealt with following each and every day of this war. And again, they have been waiting for this good news. Just to give you a little bit of information about what's going to happen next. These hostages are being transferred from Hamas's Al-Qassam brigades. This is the armed military wing of Hamas. They will go to the Red Cross and then meet Israeli soldiers along the Gaza border. At which point, we are told by an Israeli official, they will be transferred to a reception area. And we got just another small piece of information that's so important in this story. The mothers of these hostages are going to be permitted to meet them at this reception point. They will be able to be reunited there. They'll be evaluated by a team of psychologists and doctors, and they'll be flown then to a hospital here in central Israel. But again, the latest information that we have, the Israeli people just now as we are speaking are seeing the first images of these hostages being transferred to the Red Cross inside Gaza. They'll move on. And again, I'm just going to step out of the frame here so you can see these images from Gaza. Those green headbands, those are members of Hamas's Al-Qassam brigades. And again, these images of this car right here, that is one of the hostages being released. It is just a sense of relief for the Israeli people here in Tel Aviv as they get these first images out of Gaza and wait for any more information about their fellow country.
All right, and then put the next one, because the next one shows Gaza. Yeah, there you go.
Outside the car, Hamas fighters and a huge crowd. Huddled inside, 3 Israeli hostages. Handed over to the Red Cross on their way back to their families after more than a year in captivity. In Tel Aviv, they're gathered to watch history. Months has left destruction as far as the eye can see. Sami Barakat has come to see what's left of the 3 apartments and supermarket his family once owned.
We found the place destroyed, as if it had been hit by an earthquake or a volcano. It's indescribable. This street used to be the most beautiful street in the Jabalia area.
Practically Gaza's entire population has been forced out from their homes. Sami's daughter Aya is wondering whether to pitch a tent on the ruins of their house.
I'm here next to my destroyed house. I look left and right and see nothing that can be salvaged. I'm unable to describe these feelings. No human can. Where will we live? This is the question for which we have no answer.
Some here can barely recognise where their homes once stood. Others pick through the debris, looking for any possessions they can find. Still,
that's enough sadness for the life. So I mean, that's really sad. But at least there's some type of ceasefire.
But then
it would have been nice for it to have been a year ago.
I can't remember if that was yesterday or the day before, but I know that the next day, which might be today, I can't remember.
I know you're talking about 2 days ago.
There was like a ceasefire thing, and then there was Benjamin Netanyahu was like,
cabinet,
nah.
Yeah, but they agreed to it today. They just confirmed. They agreed to it today.
So it was like back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they agreed to it today. They probably got pressured by the Trump administration. Like, listen, dog.
Yeah, no.
You continue to play hardball, we're not gonna fund you, okay? Okay.
As much as I talk shit about the Trump administration, that's something that for sure Biden had nothing to do with.
Yeah, I know.
Biden had,
but he did take credit for it.
Oh, of course, because it's not Trump's presidency until the 20th type shit. That's what he's saying, but that's stupid. It was Biden didn't do shit, because if he did, he would have done it. He had time.
I mean, he tried. His administration tried last year, and it just very much failed.
Yeah, Anthony Blinken is a piece of shit.
So
he just lies. If it was really like, oh, Hamas, then what's different now?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the leadership. That's what's different. The leadership is not trying to play nice anymore. Like, listen, keep trying, bro.
But that's why like there's people that will be shitting on Trump all the time, and then they're so in that camp that they don't see certain things that, like, I can say that that's something good that he did. I don't agree with him, but that's something good that he did, and that has to be on both sides.
Yeah.
Like, if Biden is a piece of shit, like, and I think that he's a piece of shit the whole time, but he does one good thing, then I'm going to commend him for that one good thing. I mean, I'm still going to shit on him for all the other things, but I'm going to commend him for that one good thing. So it's the same thing here.
Yeah.
I know for a fact Trump would, like, I don't know exactly how or what it did, but I know that he had to have some kind of, like,
I would probably would have said, considering how I've been analyzing him for a couple years now, that guy loves to threaten you if you don't do what he says, and he probably threatened the shit out of Netanyahu.
Yeah, I mean,
whatever his name is, Benjamin
Netanyahu.
It's that guy.
Yeah,
that guy looks like a freaking mobster.
Yeah,
that guy looks like a real mobster, like who's done mobster shit.
It gets me upset that he shares a name with my son, but whatever.
Yeah. If I were Trump, I'd listen, dog.
Hey, yo, change your name, bro.
Remember, like, you were supposed to be in prison? I could put you in prison because your people wanted you in prison. So,
yeah, but like, that's also like so. Like, it's such a weird situation because there's so many people in our government, and I'm talking about left and right, that are just so pro-Israel. Like, just send money to Israel. Fuck it. Like, who cares? When it's like, yo,
yeah,
these people literally weren't letting the people in Gaza even water.
Yeah, there was a blockade for a while.
Like, that's fucked up. I wouldn't have helped them at all. Like, if I was the president, I'm just some random piece of shit, but like, if I was the president and I knew that they were blockading the people that they're fighting right now from water, how are they gonna fight?
Yeah. I mean, that's why he was going to get kicked out of office, and then the whole October 7th happened, and everybody forgot that they wanted him out of office. Yeah. You know, so which there's another investigation on that because the Egyptians told him in advance and he ignored it. So now there's some people speculating you wanted that to happen to have a reason to go and like flatten Gaza.
Yeah, I think that he knew that he was fucking around and he was gonna find out, but I think that was part of the plan for him to like fuck around and like, all right, I'm gonna find out, but you guys are also gonna find out like later on. Because I think that he knew that America was just going to be in his back pocket the whole time.
Yeah, because we've been for a long time. I mean, I respect Israel because they are the only democracy in that area. But I don't like that we've been giving them a lot of money this whole time. I understand why you do it.
It's our missiles. It's our money. It's our people going over there. It's our ships wasting time over there.
But why? If we don't fund them, they will get destroyed by everybody around them.
Let them.
And then we will be at fault because those innocent people that are there.
Let them. We have our own problems in our own nation.
But how are we any different from, you know?
Why are we going to get involved?
How are we any different from terrorists?
Why should we get involved? Because they're a democracy?
We're not. We're just funding them for them to defend themselves.
It's our missiles. Yeah. It's our protection, maritime protection that we're giving them. Why?
But they're surrounded by people that don't like them.
So why do things that aggravate them?
Because if you don't, they're going to kill.
But why was Israel doing things that was aggravating the people around them?
Like what?
Like blockading water, like literally putting them in camps, like not letting the people that live inside the Gaza Strip go out of the Gaza Strip.
But at the same time, before Hamas, it was Fatah. And Fatah was doing the same thing. It's not like they have very good leadership there. I mean, look at them. Those people look like terrorists. They don't look like military men. They look like terrorists.
My point is, why even get involved? If there's so much shit happening on one side,
I mean, weren't they getting bombed? Like, you know, the minute Hamas came in, they were getting bombed. At least Fatah was, but Hamas, somehow diplomatic to an extent.
Hamas was throwing like
that's
garbage.
Why they have a little
thing. They were exactly. They were throwing garbage explosives. You think Hamas has had any kind of like prowess against Israel at all?
Weren't they getting funded by the UN? They got billions of dollars from the UN.
But for food, for water, because they needed it.
But they didn't really use it for that though. They ended up.
But they did.
They ended up buying more weapons and making tunnels and.
Because violence begets violence. So that's. But
that doesn't help anybody. That doesn't even help your people.
Exactly.
So
if they're both being
I disagree with what Netanyahu did, but at the same time, Hamas is not innocent.
So if they're both being shit and one is being more shittier than the other one, and it doesn't matter who's being more shittier, whether Hamas or the other, if they're both being shit, why give money to either side? Like, why help one side?
Oh no, I agree. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
If
with that argument,
you're helping shit.
Yes.
It doesn't matter whether you're giving money to Hamas.
Neither of them would be funded, but
they're both trash.
But then if you don't fund Israel, and you're not going to fund Israel, and we won't fund Gaza for humanitarian purposes, Iran will fund Hamas because that's what they were doing.
That's none of our problem because our backyard is on fire, like literally right now. But before that, like before the fires on October 7th, let's pretend that we're in like November 7th, 2023 or whatever it was when it happened. Yeah. Like a whole month after. At that point, they could have made the decision, okay, are we going to help Israel or are we going to help ourselves?
According to Biden, we can do both. We can chew and talk and walk at the same time.
That's trash. That's trash. That's trash. That's garbage.
I mean, to be fair, they're not the only country we give money to.
No, I know.
We give foreign aid to thousands of other countries.
I understand.
So we should have just cut down on all those other expenses while we were at it,
Ukraine, another one.
Yeah.
But
but the reason there was Russia.
Yeah. That's a whole different.
I don't agree with it, but that's the reason behind.
That's a whole different conversation. Just because Russia was being the aggressor to begin with, where Israel was being the aggressor, and we're now funding the aggressor. Whereas with Ukraine, and I'm not saying that I agree with giving money to Ukraine or any of the. Like that, I'm not well enough educated on the whole Ukraine-Russia thing to make a solid opinion on it. but I just don't agree with giving money to like Ukraine overall or Israel overall. I just agree with giving money to Ukraine over giving money to Israel, not necessarily because I agree with giving money to Ukraine, but more because I don't agree with what Israel was doing before the attacks, whereas Ukraine was the one getting attacked. But that's the only reasoning why. At the end of the day, I don't agree with giving money to either one of them, because like I said, we should be fixing our own problems, seeing what is going. Because at that point in 2023, we were already living in one of the highest levels of inflation in our history. So why, if we're living in the highest levels of inflation, and inflation literally means the amount of money that is in the system, because that's literally what inflation is. There's more money in the system. So why are you going to create? Because that's what they're doing. They're creating more money to send money to these foreign people.
More money.
So you want to kill inflation by printing more money?
Those are the liberal economists, bro. What are you talking about? They're the experts.
But at this point, they're both at fault. At this point, they're both at fault.
But you do know that the lobbying and the Israel lobby is incredible.
Oh no, yeah,
it's absolutely 100%. Incredible. So bringing that up, the TikTok ban happened supposedly. This is what they're saying.
The TikTok whole thing ban is sketchy to me.
Yes, the TikTok ban happened because the Israel lobby was pushing the crap out of it in Congress and in the Senate. Because Trump was the first one to say, yeah, we need to ban it because China, whatever.
In 2020.
And then the Democrats and the Republicans are like, no, we're not going to do that, especially.
Freedom of speech.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And then the Israel lobbying was like, yeah, you are. So they really pushed it, and they actually made it go as far as the Biden administration passing that law to ban it and force ByteDance to sell off TikTok, since that's the parent company, send it off to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court ruled 9-0 that yes, because of national security. I agree with the decision of the Supreme Court, because core amounts of the United States is literally the reason for any reason the federal government has to infringe on our First Amendment, Second, Third, Fourth, Fifth is national security.
Yeah.
I mean, if you literally, the Supreme Court allowed FDR to put people in internment camps that were Americans, but because they were Japanese and German, they could have been espionage and spies or whatever. So the Supreme Court said, yeah, I mean, fine, you never know. So yeah, let's make this happen. Let's allow this to happen. So because of that, anything that's national security related, they're going to side with the federal government.
But even that is different, because that is us versus the world, as in like the problems. How do I
actually, Jose's the one who told me this yesterday. He says that in the terms and conditions, there's a back door that all your data is going to the Chinese servers.
Yeah.
So like everything on your phone. Facebook does not do that.
Yeah. So this is where I had a whole journey on this, and like I said, Ant knows like my whole entire journey, because I debated with him on this same exact topic when it first happened. I was like, yo, like I agree with the ban, but not because of any other reason other than specifically like social media needs to be tamed. Because
what does that mean? Tamed? Oh, like controlled?
I don't want to use specifically the word controlled, because using the word controlled specifically with social media means that I'm trying to control your
censor.
Like your First Amendment. Huh? Regulated? Kind of. I guess kind of regulated. I guess that's more of a better word, because like kids that are under 18 can just see whatever they want on Instagram or TikTok.
But isn't that the power of the state to legislate that and say, if you are in this state, your children are not allowed, from this age on to go on social media. Florida did that. DeSantis did that.
Yeah, with Pornhub or whatever.
With social media. If you are, I believe, 15 or 16 years old, you like 15 or 16 years old, you can start using it. But under that, here in Florida,
but how do you
you're not allowed
implement
to do
that?
I have no idea.
That's what I'm saying. Because I know with the porn situation, it's like you have to like upload your ID or something like that and sign up or something. I don't know.
Something along those lines, yeah.
I don't know exactly how it is, but I know it has something to do with your ID. For sure, you have to identify yourself, and if you're identifying yourself, I'm assuming have to make some kind of like login or something, or maybe just having the ID. I don't know, whatever. Like, my point is that, like, if there's some kind of way where we can control the brain rot that comes from TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, just stopping the doom scroll, just stopping that kind of like, okay, you want to do that, do it, but in a way where you're also learning. Like, you're educating yourself, like you're doing something, you're first of all, you do something healthy for yourself, and then you can do that.
But isn't that the parents' job?
100%. But there's parents that, like,
it's the parents' job.
There's so many different scenarios that I can think of. Like, there's parents that are, first of all, negligent. That happens all the time. There's parents that are just non-existent, and I'm not even saying like negligent. I'm just saying that they're just not there, and like maybe they're in an orphan home or in a foster home that doesn't give a fuck, or they live with their parents or with their grandparents. I mean, and their parents don't give a fuck, or maybe they do give a fuck but they don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of circumstances.
There's too many circumstances. There has to be some kind of way where it's like, listen, if you're under 15 and your brain is getting developed, there needs to be some kind of like a barrier to stop you from getting access to this level of I wouldn't even call it information. I would just call it like entertainment, I guess, because like there's certain things that you can go on TikTok and scroll 2 or 3 times and they'll say that it's entertainment, but it's like politically charged, whether it's left, whether it's right, and they'll it's under the guise of, oh, but it's just for entertainment. When you're above 20 or 25, you know full well
right.
what they're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's my biggest problem. Like, there has to be, and I don't know the solution to it. I don't know even like the slightest way of even how to get to that solution. I just know that that's the problem.
Yeah,
that's the problem with society.
Yeah,
right now.
I do agree with you there that the habit of, I mean, I'm not a viewer, so like I can't really relate to the people that are scrollers or whatever. But I definitely do think that states and Congress and Senate does have to play a role in like telling big tech, hey, you need to implement a feature that if you are X age, you're not allowed to use the platform, period. You know, that I don't agree with the whole like censorship on the platform. Like TikTok is extremely communist. Like they had a bully feature. You had to approve like certain comments. Like just allow the comments to go through. Who cares? Like I had to literally go through every single one and accept them. It's stupid. I don't like that. Everything with them is there's like a boundary, and if you pass the boundary of misinformation, they can literally just remove your account, which is what they did to mine. I don't think that's okay. So I'm in a way, karma's a bitch. That's kind of why they got banned.
Yeah.
But like, for example, what Biden said about the whole fact checking, that Trump, what's this guy's name? Mark Zuckerberg is removing the whole fact checking thing because you realize you are censoring people.
Yeah.
For no reason. Because the fact checkers are politically charged, and unfortunately, they're politically charged to the left. Not even centered. Because if they were centered, great. But not even. They're not. It's mainly left.
Community notes still exist though on X.
Yeah. But they rather that. So they're doing
but it's the same
notes.
thing. It's the same thing, no? Is it not?
It's not really because
is because I don't know, because I'm not on Facebook. Is the fact check on Facebook given to them from Facebook, or is it like a community driven thing where it's like
it's from Facebook? Okay. So they were paying fact checkers to fact check people, and you were censoring a bunch of people. Like, for example, I put a video when the whole Helene thing happened, and Kamala Harris said, "Oh, we're gonna give people $750." All I put was that same video on my story, and I just put 750 ... Fact checkers were like, "This is misinformation." I was like, what? Dude, I just put 750 ... That's all I said. I didn't say this is bullshit. How can she do this? Like, so that's why he's like, yeah, we're not going to do this anymore. And we're going to just go and do what X is doing. And we're just going to do community notes, which is pretty much a regular average Joe says, yeah, this is wrong. I'm going to community note this and report that this is incorrect information.
I think Elon Musk just shit on Mark Zuckerberg so hard that now Mark Zuckerberg is turning into Elon Musk.
I think they're competing against each other.
I think so too.
I didn't know that Instagram was bought by Mark. Yeah. I thought he built the app.
No.
Like he built Facebook.
No.
He bought it for like $1 billion.
Just like Elon Musk didn't make Tesla.
Yeah.
He bought Tesla. The only thing that he made, or I guess patent, was the charger port.
And did he invest in PayPal, or did
he invested in PayPal? Yeah, none of his companies are actually like made by him. He was just like there and bought it. I mean, I think SpaceX.
He's an investor. That's kind of what they do.
Well, yeah, but
it's the same thing Mark Cuban did. Mark Cuban didn't make anything. He invested everything.
Yeah, there's people that are like, oh yeah, he built that company from the ground up, and it's like.
I mean, he's definitely.
I don't think it was ground. It was for sure at least like level 3.
He invested in it, and then
100%.
And then
yeah. I'm not taking that away from him.
Amplified it.
I'm not taking that away from him. I'm just saying you can't say from the ground up.
Amazon made himself from the ground up. Yeah.
Jeff Kisses, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. He from the ground up. Did he have certain connections that made it easier to get the ground going? 100%. He had the hedge fund in his pocket. But that's a whole different story. That's a whole different topic for a different like that's a whole different scenario. But at the end of the day, the foundation was him. Like it was Jeff Kisses.
Why do you say Jeff Kisses? Oh, because of Bezos.
Because of Bezos, yeah. I either call him Bezos because he's a B, or he Kisses because he just blows kisses.
I didn't know that he was part Cuban.
Yeah, he was here in Palmetto High or whatever.
I did not know that. I was like, interesting. All right, cool. All right, last one.
It's sleepy time already.
Biden boys. Farewell address, and then after that, we're done. We're actually on time. I'm proud of ourselves. Yeah. Biden farewell address.
Holy moly, time flies.
Careful talking about the small hats.
An oligarchy is taking shape in America of extreme wealth, power, and influence that literally threatens our entire democracy, our basic rights and freedoms, and a fair shot for everyone to get ahead. We see the consequences all across America, and we've seen it before, more than a century ago. But the American people stood up to the robber barons back then and busted the trusts. They didn't punish the wealthy, just made the wealthy play by the rules everybody else had to.
President Biden there speaking from the Oval Office in that farewell.
All right, so don't you think it's a little hypocritical considering he's talking about big tech when big tech was on their side forever, and then the minute they just went to the other side because they realized they were on the wrong side of history, that now he's talking down on big tech. And then at the same time, the Democrat Party is an oligarchy, and it's obvious now that they are an oligarchy, because if they weren't, why would you not have a primary? You didn't allow people to get in and see who was going to be the best pick. You decided Biden was going to be it, which was stupid. Why would you think he should have ran a second term? If Kamala Harris was the best pick, you should have allowed her to compete with Josh Shapiro and Gavin Newsom and everybody else on the left. So I think it's very hypocritical, but I also think he said that because he feels salty that Pelosi booted him out because she's part of the whole oligarchy group.
I think that, and I actually just made this connection right now. This is not the first time that I heard his farewell speech, but I don't know why I feel like now, because I hadn't thought about this, he might have been also like trying to calm, I don't know if that's the right word, calm the American system, because I think, I'm not saying that this is his full intention, but I think that was part of the intention of why he said that vocabulary in that way. It's because of the Luigi thing, and that's something that was in the back of my mind until like right now. The specific verbiage that he said was, we didn't make them pay, or something like that. We didn't hurt them or anything like that. We just made them play by their own rules.
Right.
And I think that might have something to do with like how he can see, because at that level you have to be able to see like how the society is like reacting to certain things. So like maybe he's saying that, and I'm not saying, like I said, not his full intention, but maybe it's like a slight jab at like people that might want to have some kind of like uprising or something. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but like some kind of like feeling of like kill the rich type stuff rather than tax the rich, because I'm firmly
tax the rich, not kill the rich.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, but the whole Luigi thing was kill the rich.
It might have to do with the way that he was saying that. I mean, we don't know for sure.
Yeah,
but I think that verbiage in particular, the way that he said, like, we didn't hurt them, we made them play by our own rules. Apart from that, yeah, I agree that that's super hypocritical of him to say. But I think he said it specifically because of that, because I think that he's starting to realize that there's like an ongoing what's the right word for it? It's like rage, I guess.
Yeah,
in like society right now, in American society, American culture, that they saw what Luigi did, and a lot of people are like, yo,
yeah,
what did he do wrong?
Yeah.
And like, I'm not saying I don't agree with murder. I don't agree with any of that. I don't agree with vigilantism.
Yeah, me too.
But
unless it has to do with shooting those drones down, though.
That's
a different story.
That was actually crazy. But yeah, as far as like the oligarchy thing, it's super hypocritical of him to say.
Yeah, dude, because the Democrat Party is an oligarchy.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, but they're not gonna own up to it. Neither side is gonna own up to it.
And Schumer actually admitted it, that he was there when Pelosi said, "Yeah, you can't run."
I think Nancy Pelosi talked, not her, or her daughter said some like shit to Joe Biden. Like
to Jill Biden?
To Jill Biden. Yes, like she said some, I don't know exactly.
I mean, they're imploding. They're like fighting within the party. So.
But the Democratic Party deserves to be imploding right now for the shit that they did during the election.
Yeah, I mean,
they fucked themselves.
I don't know how they're gonna recuperate, but I hope they do, because I want competition, so I want them to recuperate.
Right now, I feel like, you know how when you're dándole agua domino?
Yeah. That's what's happening right now.
I literally think that that's what's happening, but not only with the Democrats. I think it's happening with the.
Well, they need to dándole agua California.
Like, I think everybody, like, because there's a split in the Democratic side with Biden and Kamala and like Israel and all this other fucking bullshit. Split. But on the right side, it's like the Trumpers and then the not Trumpers, the never Kevers and then the Kevers, which are like the.
I mean, there's a huge split right now with the whole H-1B visas,
and they're all kind of going like their own way. There's some of them converge at like certain areas, but I feel like for the most part they're all like splitting up into like different like sides, and it's scary for me to see it as a lover of history, because the only other time that I've seen this like split in history is like in like deep levels of stress times. So it's scary to me to see it like that, but
he's gonna go down as the worst president in history, bro. He's gonna go down as like worse than Jimmy Carter. That's pretty bad.
I think LBJ is one of the lowest ones.
He's at 23% rate right now. That's really bad. That's horrible.
Yeah, no, I mean,
you know,
I think that overall in the world, though, there's like a whole huge level of distrust in government and stuff like that, because Justin Trudeau came in with huge levels of support, and it's been like a decade later.
Now he got kicked out,
and now it's like the lowest level of any fucking prime minister that they've ever fucking had. Yep. So like, I think that and the same thing happened in France. The same thing is happening in Germany.
Yep.
The same thing is happening in a lot of different places.
South Korea is going through some stuff right now.
I think COVID fucked us in a way that we are still figuring out exactly what are the full circumstances of what we're in right now.
I think the future looks bright, though, because maybe, you know, we're realizing that the leadership that we had is not what we actually need, and now things are transitioning. And the transition right now is a little rough, but, you know, I think in the long run, we're going to realize, okay, this is what we actually need to move forward. So hopefully the Democrat Party does figure themselves out, because they need a message and they don't have one right now. So once they can get to a message, then we can actually compete again on who has a better message.
The message that will overall like prevail, and that doesn't matter whether it comes from the left or it comes from the right, whether it comes from Trump's mouth or it comes from fucking Gavin Newsom or my mouth or whoever's, it has to be, and not has to be, what's gonna happen is that it's gonna be the most positive one.
Yeah, anything that unites.
Forget about uniting. You can unite a nation, but if you're uniting a nation in a negative way,
it has to unite in a positive
it's gonna
way.
Get shit on.
Yeah, because look at 9/11, that united us, but that was not a positive unite.
It fucked us.
Yeah.
So like, that's what I'm mostly keeping an eye out, specifically for tomorrow, because tomorrow is a huge day. Yeah. Tomorrow is gonna be the day that's gonna set the tone for the rest of the 4 years. So if tomorrow Trump talks in a very positive way, and he gives a positive message of unity, not only unity, but like unification in a way where it's like, listen, I know that the left was talking shit about me, and I know that there's certain people on the right that don't like me, but we need to figure out a way to get together and figure out what our problems are and fix those problems. If he says something like that in that way, I think that we're gonna be fine. If he says stuff like, I don't even know what he could possibly say, like America first, or the rhetoric
the
on the
deep state trying to kill me.
like antagonizing some kind of group, or even like separating some kind of group. I think that it's not going to be as good as a lot of people think.
We will find out. Guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. Everybody on Instagram, thank you guys for tuning in. Go subscribe to Married Truth Talks on YouTube. And everybody, thank you guys. See you guys on the next one.
Wait. Can I plug my thing?
Yes. Go. Sorry.
So on Tuesday, probably around 12, I'm gonna be streaming. It's Albie's Looters Lounge. I'm gonna see if I can get these guys to put it on the description. I appreciate you guys for that.
Yes.
And keep an eye out for that. I hope that we can have some good conversations. My intention with it is, and I'll keep it quick, my intention is to have conversation with people, maybe play some video games, but I just want to talk to people. It doesn't have to be politics. It can be about literally anything you want to talk about. If you want to talk about Medicare, you want to talk about the economy, you want to talk about history, I don't care. We'll talk about it. I love talking to people. So if you're there, you're available, and you want to talk to me, I'll be there around 12 on Tuesday. That's it.
Sweet. All right, well, we will be there tuning in with you. Guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is Married Truth Talks. See you guys next Sunday.